Hello all, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome to the newest episode of the Noobs and Knockouts Podcast, brought to you on YouTube, on Spotify, on Google, and Apple Podcasts. I'm Austin. I'm a knockout. Watched a lot of wrestling.
I'm David. I'm a noob. Haven't watched nearly as much wrestling. And friends, it's a new year. Same old Noobs and Knockouts. After long last, we are here for the long promised beginning of this most prestigious of arcs. And my dear friend, dear co-host, please enlighten us. What might this arc be?
Yes, so we are here. Finally, stuff that's on the background
after two separate delays.
Yes, and also the thing that's on the back of my wall is finally appropriate. As
shit!
On the back of my wall here is we have the former Yes Movement T-shirt for Daniel Bryan that has now been commemorated as a wall piece, as a piece on my wall.
It's great. I always think it's Che Guevara for some reason.
I mean, it's trying to emulate like the Barack Obama posters in style.
It's a work of art, folks. Truly, if only. Well, hey, those watching the YouTube, you can see it. Isn't it nice to watch the YouTube?
Yeah, it is. Check it out, Noobs and Knockouts podcast on YouTube.
On YouTube. Hey! Plugs go at the end of the show. What are you doing, motherfucker? What are you doing? You fucking trying to usurp me? Trying to take my job over here?
Yeah, I have determined that you're just a B+ player, and that
I'm a B
for what's best for business is that I do the plugs now.
I'm too ugly. I'm too short. I got
yep.
I got the goat face.
Yep, that is exactly what I'm saying.
Oof. Goddamn. This is. I'm so sad. Why must there be a precedent for short, ugly, goat-faced men to not get their chance in the spotlight, Austin? That is an existential question that's on my mind, and I have no idea how I'm going to answer that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this arc we are covering the road to WrestleMania 30, specifically Daniel Bryan's road to WrestleMania 30, the Yes Movement. And that we have made some sly references that will make more sense as the show goes on.
I know. The nice thing about learning more about the world of wrestling is I actually can make some of these sly references and feel very cool. And I can just hear 2 years ago David screaming, "What are you saying? What? Stop! Help!" So I feel so enlightened. Also, Austin, I must say, we are when you told me about this arc that we were doing, this special 7-episode arc, I got real excited. Daniel Bryan was one of my OG faves thanks to this very show, and I've always felt for him as a performer. I've come to really, really respect him as a worker, and knowing the climb that it took him both on screen and off to get to the position that he's in sounds glorious. And the fact that we're going to kind of watch that in full in some form or other is so deeply exciting to me. However, there was one thing I did not take into account because, dear folks, it was either last night or just earlier today, Austin had to go and remind me that we are we're returning to let's say an old tradition here on the Noobs and Knockouts podcast. Over the 7-episode arc that we're in 2014, baby. Austin reminded me that we're going to be watching 3-hour Raws, and I said, "Do you kiss your mother with that mouth?"
Yeah, these episodes of Raw are longer than our pay-per-view supercuts that I will still be doing.
Yay.
Fantastic, guys. We can't be helped. We made it through somehow the first episode of this podcast doing that.
This is the next 8 to 9 months of my life, folks.
So I will say that I will go ahead and talk a little bit about like the structure of this 7-episode bit, because it's not 7 episodes in the traditional way I've structured the plots of these arcs. Like it's not like the Rey Mysterio Eddie Guerrero thing we've been doing that is 6 episodes of a full continuous storyline. Because I'll go ahead and I will just go ahead and say it because we're gonna skim over a lot of this part of it. But basically, Daniel Bryan's story is 2 separate parts that WWE pretends is one big part. And so,
okay, please elaborate.
Basically, I'll talk more about SummerSlam 2013 in a second as we go match by match from that pay-per-view. Tonight we're watching the episode of Raw after SummerSlam 2013.
Okay.
But at SummerSlam 2013, Daniel Bryan won the WWE Championship, and then Triple H, who was the guest referee at the time of the match, betrayed him and helped Randy Orton cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase to become WWE Champion instead. Daniel Bryan would have 2 more matches on pay-per-view against Randy Orton, where he would beat Randy Orton for the title at Night of Champions, but then a technicality forced him to vacate the title and have to have a rematch for it at Hell in a Cell, where Shawn Michaels, the special referee of that match, screwed Daniel Bryan to help Randy Orton win the belt. And
Jesus.
From there, they kind of transitioned Daniel Bryan away from the title and away from the anti-authority storyline in general. They tried.
Okay.
This is during the infamous period where they tried to have other major baby faces, specifically the Big Show, do the yes chant, because the idea was the yes chant was over, not Daniel. So we can just have any old baby face do yes, 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 and that work as an anti-authority character beat. That
was an actual idea that someone had. That was an actual thought that crossed someone's brain. How do you have that thought without them immediately dying of a brain aneurysm?
Well, that's an interesting. And somehow the writers in the WWE pulled it off. So
what type of moon logic tells you, oh yeah, no, it's not the wrestler that's over, it's the chant. What if we just took the chant and pushed it somewhere else? Yeah, that'll go over fine with the fans. It's not like they've developed a deep connection between that wrestler and that chant, and that it'll feel fake coming out of any other wrestler. What?
I felt like I was going to talk about more of this the second episode of this, and I'll sure to reiterate it. But yes, this is a big part of what happened in fall 2013. Daniel Bryan had his time, and now we're going to have other guys fight Randy Orton for the title.
What the shit? Why?
Because despite what WWE would tell you, they did not, in fact, originally plan for Daniel Bryan to walk out of WrestleMania 30 with the title.
Yeah, well, obviously, because they had Orton screw him. Oh, no, that's SummerSlam. No.
Yeah, the initial plan was that Dave Bautista, coming back after quitting and starting to go into Hollywood, he would come back and he would face main event WrestleMania 30 against Randy Orton one-on-one. And Bautista was supposed to be the big conquering hero. And Daniel Bryan was initially scheduled to wrestle Sheamus.
Oh, yeah. That'll be a great match to run back after Sheamus did like the 10-second squash of him in 2012.
Yeah, see, it's got history. It's fine.
It's yeah. 2-year-old history that kind of fizzled out after that match.
See, it's fine.
Okay, sure.
So after his failed attempts at keeping the WWE title, he would proceed a multi-month storyline with the Wyatt family.
Yes.
That would culminate at the Royal Rumble. And then we have the Royal Rumble kerfuffle, where, as I like to call it, where the fans were very committed to the idea that Daniel Bryan is about to enter the Royal Rumble and win the match, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then it's not that he doesn't even it's not even that he just doesn't win the Rumble. He's not even in the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And this caused a big old stink. And
oh yeah, wasn't this when like Rey Mysterio got booed for not being Daniel Bryan?
Rey Mysterio was number 30 in the 2014 Royal Rumble, and the crowd booed the shit out of him for it because he was not Daniel Bryan.
Oh no. So yeah, Daniel Bryan was over as fuck at this juncture.
But thanks to this moment, as well as let's be frank, CM Punk quitting and throwing the entire WrestleMania plans for the year out of commission, they eventually conceded and decided, okay, we're gonna run with Daniel Bryan getting a match at WrestleMania and winning the title. And WWE, of course, pretends that this was all one great 7-month plan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
It was not.
It was very much not. They were so weird about Daniel Bryan backstage.
Yeah, and I'm gonna save more remarks about that till we actually see it in actions. So this arc, we are not gonna spend a lot of time with the first half of this story because it's not the real meat of the story. Mm-hmm. We are gonna spend 2 episodes with the pre-Royal Rumble half.
Okay.
As kind of a set piece, kind of set the stage. As there's a couple of things here that I think are important to contextualize the rest of the story.
Makes sense.
That's why we're doing that. And then the last 5 episodes will be a bit more of a conventional way that we do an arc here, following the story in 5 episodes.
Yeah, that's nice. Just got a little 2-episode prologue. Okay, I can get down with this. That's all right. So, are we actually watching the Royal Rumble then?
Yes. Oh, okay. We can't not watch the Royal Rumble 2014.
All right, cool. So then I will refrain from asking how the fuck it all goes down with Daniel Bryan not being in the Royal Rumble, but still having the WrestleMania match. I will refrain that question until we get there then. Okay.
Yes.
Delightful.
We will cover how he gets his match at Mania.
Cool. Yeah. So even like around SummerSlam 2013, at this point, Daniel Bryan is pretty fucking over, right?
Yes. This is kind of this itself is a big culminating moment for Daniel Bryan, as he has been growing in fan support. The fans are getting way behind him as a babyface, and
Hell knows.
He basically spends. Hell No is kind of over.
Okay.
It's kind of amicably split by this point. And now Daniel Bryan is just wrestling his ass off every week on Raw, and the people are starting to really get behind him.
The way you described the end of the end of Hell No as like an amicable breakup makes me think of like that quote. I think I sent it to you, where I can't remember who it was, but basically they were talking about kind of the backstage dynamic between Kane and Daniel Bryan, where Daniel Bryan just really enjoyed like palling around with Kane and just always got a kick out of him no matter what. And Kane generally enjoyed Daniel Bryan's like presence and friendship, but also I think took some issue with his difference in politics where Daniel kind of didn't care that Kane was future annoying libertarian Mayor Glenn Jacobs. So I'm just imagining giving Kane it's Kane giving Daniel Bryan a speech. It's not you, it's not me, it's communism. It's dirty.
But yeah, they don't really feud or anything.
Yeah, no.
They just kind of like go their separate ways.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go your own way. Fuck. Wait, shit. All right, one more hypothetical. I now need a version of the fucking Stevie Nicks, whoever else, like breakup thing, but with Daniel Bryan and Kane. The Fleetwood Mac breakup thing.
Where is Daniel Bryan Kane's Rumors album?
I know. Where is Daniel Bryan acoustically singing "You Can Go Your Own Way"?
Absolutely.
Goddamn.
We need it.
I need that shit now. I don't know who would be funnier to hear sing, Daniel Bryan or Glenn Jacobs.
That's a good question. So this is the night after SummerSlam 2013. So in a tradition of how I've done it on this podcast is I will frame talking about where the storylines have been around what happened on the pay-per-view.
Delightful. Give us that delightful little rundown, boy.
Sure. So the pay-per-view opened with Bray Wyatt in his very first match in main roster WWE.
Ooh.
He is just him and the Wyatt family with aka Luke Harper and Eric Rowan have just come up to the main roster of WWE from NXT.
Oh, my boy. My sweet boy Luke Harper. Oh.
Yep. They're here. The Swamp Cult is all in now.
Yes. Oh, that's so great.
And they start by fighting Kane and they fight in a Ring of Fire match, which is what it sounds like.
That's so sick. Wait, was it 3-on-1?
No, it was 1-on-1. Bray Wyatt versus Kane.
Oh, Bray Wyatt versus Kane. Okay.
Sadly, they do not use the traditional Ring of Fire rules, which they don't use the Inferno match rules where you win by setting the other person on fire. It is the Inferno match where you wrestle and the ring is surrounded by fire, except it is not the Inferno match rules where you win by setting the other person on fire. It was just a regular match. But you can't leave the ring because there's a fire. Because there's fire.
Oh no! Wait, have they had like normal Inferno matches on WWE before?
Yes, Kane has been in all of them.
Oh, of course he has. How has he ever? What? Did he ever lose any of them?
Several. In fact, he honestly loses more than he wins those.
I feel like setting Kane on fire is like trying to give the burn condition to a fire type Pokemon. I feel like that should just kind of not work.
Well, it started from the Undertaker Kane feud, and the decision was basically who is the person in a full bodysuit. Okay, he's the one going on fire.
So the same thought process that went into in the TNA deathmatch episode we did last episode. Who is wearing the most clothes that can get like thrown onto glass and tacks and shit?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, cool. You know, we love the safety. Bonus points for actually being somewhat safe about that.
Yeah, but this was just a normal match, which Bray Wyatt won straight up. He defeated Kane, and then after the match, the Wyatts grabbed Kane, and Bray Wyatt took the steel steps into the ring and bashed in Kane's head a couple of times.
The fuck? They are
here to show they are not fucking around.
Oh my god, the Swamp Cult rules so hard, dude.
It does. And
why does pretty much everything Bray Wyatt touched turn to gold, man?
Because he's really good. He's creatively smart.
He's so good. I will say, okay, so I'm most certainly losing the bet I had with myself of if Sasha Banks debuts in AEW, I'll fucking buy the next WWE pay-per-view. I will say, it seems as though there's gonna be some culmination of all this shit I've been seeing about Bray Wyatt's newest angle with fucking LA Knight and probably Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy, and if I get to see that in a pay-per-view, I'll think that's pretty fucking sick.
Yeah. All right, so after that match, we had Cody Rhodes versus Damian Sandow.
Against who?
Yes, Damian Sandow. I don't think you've actually seen him.
Sounds like
impressed.
A jobber.
He was more than he wasn't, but okay.
Oh.
So Damian Sandow's original gimmick was the intellectual savior of the masses, where his gimmick was, I'm smart and say big words and you're all stupid, but I'm making you smarter by my mere presence.
Is this like the other half of the Rhodes Scholars?
Yes, it is actually.
Oh,
this is actually the culmination of the Rhodes Scholars imploding. If you can believe it, Damien Sandow has the Money in the Bank briefcase.
The fuck?
Yeah, this is the peak for Damien Sandow. He will. He is destined to become the first man to ever lose his cash-in match. As he will attempt to cash in on John Cena, the World Heavyweight Champion, and despite the fact that Cena had a kayfabe injured arm, LOL, Cena wins. Shit.
You know, sometimes I just kind of like I hear about or I think about like the booking on like Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns nowadays, and I do a little SMH in my head of how ridiculous their power levels can be. It's easy to forget this day and age just how fucked Cena's power levels were too, that he could pull some shit like that, because again, he was so fucking over and sold so much goddamn merchandise. Oh no, man, my man Damien, the briefest of moments, thought he was gonna be the Shawn Michaels of the Rhodes Scholars. Oh no!
He almost was for the briefest moment.
For the briefest, no. Well, I bet when he was told he was getting booked to win Money in the Bank, he got so excited. He like called his whole fucking family. He's like, "All right, my career's finally taken off. Fuck this Cody loser. He ain't gonna amount to shit." And now, and now,
well,
oh no,
now,
oh poor guy.
But so Damien Sandow basically, he basically like cost Cody Rhodes Money in the Bank to win the match, and so that was the betray. That was kind of like what caused the dissolution of the group. And Cody, in retaliation, threw the Money in the Bank briefcase in a river. And so,
he was watching his old Stone Cold tapes.
Sure. And so Damien Sandow's carrying around this like nice brown leather briefcase as a replacement now.
That's the most Rhodes Scholar thing to do. So at least it's on brand, but oh my god, what a fucking dweeb.
Yep. And speaking of dweebs, Cody Rhodes wins the match.
Good. Yeah.
There's a long history of I plotted this out once. I don't know. I'd probably have to dig up my statistics on it. I literally wrote this up once, but basically WWE is super okay with like having the Money in the Bank wrestler lose a lot before they cash in as a means to, as basically a thought of like, they're going to be world champions soon. We don't have to protect them, except that also makes them look like chumps before they become world champion.
Yeah, because like because that's the whole thing, is like half the time they're heels who are cashing in on an injured motherfucker, and it feels like half the time like they just kind of end up being transitional champs anyway. Like who the fuck has actually become a permanent champ based on, or you know, as permanent as you can be as champ based on winning Money in the Bank? Like Randy Orton, clearly, but other than that,
okay. Well, actually, I actually want to look this up now. Like, who won, and would I argue who was elevated to top level status by winning Money in the Bank and winning the title?
Yeah,
Edge, the original, that was his breakthrough.
Well, yeah, because it's the OG before they flanderized the fuck out of that briefcase.
RVD never reaches that spot again, though, to be fair. A lot of that was probably because he got busted for the weed, and WWE was like, we can never trust you again.
The stoner guy getting busted for being a stoner? No way.
Let's see, then they gave the briefcase to Mr. Kennedy, but Wonka Edge ended up cashing that one in. So that says to look how that went.
Yeah, I think I remember you talking about that.
This was CM Punk's. CM Punk, his first 2 world titles in the WWE came from Money in the Bank in 2008 and 2009. But I I don't think either of those would be considered like. Most people don't consider that his breakthrough.
Yeah.
Though it did give him credibility as a former world champion. Jack Swagger didn't mean shit. Kane, he was already a former world champion, and it also didn't mean shit. The Miz, that was his only world title for like a decade, but that did elevate him to being a top guy. It did elevate him to becoming a guy who like they can put in the main event every once in a while, you know?
That's fair.
Alberto Del Rio, he had already won the Royal Rumble as well, and yet also this did nothing for Del Rio.
We've seen that one. Hey.
Daniel Bryan, sure.
Yeah, well, we're here.
Sure. John Cena, already a bazillion-time world champion.
God.
Dolph Ziggler could have been, didn't. Randy Orton, already a multi-time world champion. Damian Sandow, no, especially because he lost. Seth Rollins, yes, this was his big elevating moment. Sheamus, already a multiple-time world champion, so I'm going to say no.
Really? Like elevated that high at that point.
Sheamus beat John Cena for the WWE title within like a year or two of his debut in 2009.
Jesus.
They pushed him to the fucking moon to start.
Wow.
Dean Ambrose. So then Dean Ambrose. Yeah, I'll say that was his elevation to being a world champion. Yeah, that's fair. Baron Corbin lost. Braun Strowman lost. Brock Lesnar, no, he was already a bazillion-time champion.
Yeah, really.
The Miz, we already just talked about him. Big E, yes. Austin Theory, LOL, get fucked. He not only cashed in on the U.S. championship, he also lost.
What
so
the fuck?
Get absolutely jabronied.
What the fuck is that booking?
That booking is Vince McMahon was super high on Austin Theory and Triple H is not.
Oh no. That's real. Why doesn't Triple H like Austin Theory?
I don't know, but he clearly doesn't like him as much as Vince did. So it gets shit on. And then for the women, Carmella, sure, though she hasn't really, I guess she hasn't really repeated since. So it's like, maybe. Alexa Bliss, she already had been a pretty top level person in 2018. Bayley, sure, yeah, this is a big one for her. Nikki ASH, no. Liv Morgan, no. Just for someone who beat Ronda Rousey, also no.
Oof.
So it's very up and down, the history of Money in the Bank and who gets elevated from it and who doesn't.
It feels a mite more like down/neutral than it does up, I must say.
I would agree with that.
Holy shit, The Miz has only been champ twice, and for a collective period of time that's less than a year. Wow, that's weird. He's always been a guy they trust to be in the main event scene, but not a guy to be champion. That's weird to me because I feel like The Miz could he's got the star power to be he
is the slimiest, sleaziest heel champion imaginable.
MJF, but yeah,
but I mean, MJF gets treated like he's a big deal as a wrestler. The Miz, when he was WWE champion, had competitive matches with Jerry Lawler for the title. So
yeah, no, but what I'm saying, I feel like nowadays, people fucking love The Miz. I feel like you could push him for a legit championship run. That's so bizarre to me.
You could, but okay, back to what we were basically all this to say. Damian Sandow is not one of those getting elevated by Money in the Bank, and him losing to Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam only kind of furthers the point.
Okay.
That fuck you, man. This ain't
it. This ain't it, Chief.
All right, then for the World Heavyweight Championship, champion Alberto Del Rio defeated Christian.
Oh Christ.
kind of a nothing story. It was just Christian being like, I want to be world champion one more time. And Del Rio being Del Rio, and then he won, eat shit, and die.
Yeah. Yeah. This is post making Alberto Del Rio the cleanliest of all the clowns.
Mm-hmm. And then Natalya beat Brie Bella in what was essentially a Total Divas advertising match. It was like 6 of the 7 women from the first season of Total Divas were involved in this match. It was Brie Bella, Nikki Bella, and Eva Marie, and Natalya, Naomi, and Cameron. So, of the two Funkadactyls. And so, hurrah!
Hooray!
This match, famously, the crowd gave so much of a shit about it, they chanted for all 3 commentators. They started chanting for JBL, then they chanted for Michael Cole, then they chanted for Jerry Lawler. That is how much they cared.
Oh, no. Wait, isn't like at this point Total Divas thought of pretty fondly?
It is looked back on as good for an E! Network reality show, which means most wrestling fans don't enjoy it.
Okay, that's fair.
But it's also acknowledged as being like, it is actually a good gateway to get like non-white male demographics into wrestling.
Yeah.
Which of course means that the predominantly white and male audience that shows up at SummerSlam could not give less of a fuck about the Total Divas match.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Then we had Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk in a no DQ match. Brock won. It was 25 minutes. It was sick. It was basically a CM Punk is not being a dirty bastard anymore. So Paul Heyman's like, yeah, screw, I'm not going to manage you anymore. Paul Heyman cost CM Punk Money in the Bank. And then Brock Lesnar showed up on Raw and beat up CM Punk.
Oh my god, dude! Fucking, I'm imagining like the contract you have to sign to be managed by Paul Heyman. One of the clauses is must act like a dirty bastard. You have like you have a dirty bastard quota that you have to meet, and if not, like your contract's considered null and void.
You're done.
Heyman.
Yeah, you're done.
See it.
You're done.
I can see it.
Yeah. So it was a really good match. This is pre-streak Brock Lesnar, so they're leaning in really hard on how much of an MMA guy he is. He had that, which means he spends a very long time working an arm bar.
Okay.
Because he's an MMA guy who knows submissions. He knows submissions. It's like he is a technical wrestler.
Guys. And whereas now he's just like, he will flick you and you will die.
Yeah, which admittedly is a better use of his talents, but he also has actual competitive matches in 2013.
Yeah, and not just he's allowed to have competitive matches against people whose names don't rhyme with fucking Roman brains. I don't know.
Yep, pretty much. And then we get Dolph Ziggler and Caitlyn versus defeating Big E Langston and AJ Lee. Basically, AJ Lee dumped Dolph Ziggler for being a big losery bitch. This was a way to basically they wanted to turn Dolph Ziggler babyface, but keep AJ Lee heel. So they're like, get the fuck out.
Wait, why is AJ Lee involved with Dolph Ziggler?
Because she turned heel by helping Dolph Ziggler steal Money in the Bank from John Cena back in 2012. Remember when I was talking about AJ and Dolph in the 2012 Christmas episode?
No, I don't remember that super well. The female connection I remember Dolph Ziggler having is Vicky.
Fair. It's the more famous one anyway. But basically, in 2012, AJ was macking on John Cena for a hot second.
Oh yeah, this shit. Yeah.
And then she betrayed Cena for Ziggler, turning her heel, and now she is the Divas champion. And she's still heel, but Ziggler is kind of becoming an organic baby face to the fans. So they're like, we're going to lean into that. So we got to get him. So we got to get him away from AJ. And so they do. And Big E Langston is still in the worst version of himself. a silent heel bodyguard.
That is a horrible use of your Big E. What the fuck are you doing?
Well, what happened is Vince McMahon saw Big E Langston and didn't watch NXT. Therefore, he's like, I know exactly what to do with you, pal.
Big beefy black guy? Yes, bodyguard.
Yeah, he's a heavy. He's a heavy. He's a big muscular. He's got to be the heavy.
Wait,
he can't be funny or talk or nothing.
Wait, so what? How long until New Day happens?
I think mid 2014, late 2014 is when
shit.
the New Day hooks up.
And I know they're heels to start, but like, still, at least that's a better use of your Big E.
It is. It wasn't until the New Day where Big E's personality was actually actively used on WWE main roster, which is insane because on NXT, he was his charismatic good guy self.
Yeah, which is how Big E is supposed to be. Doing anything else, that's objectively incorrect. What the fuck? Not letting Big E talk is like not letting Hulk Hogan hit the boot and the leg drop and the 1, 2, 3, like that like you're depriving him of his whole thing, right? What the fuck are you doing?
Who could say?
Christ.
Yep. And then Daniel Bryan versus John Cena. John Cena was the WWE champion, and he was given the opportunity to pick his own challenger for SummerSlam. And he picked Daniel Bryan, feeling he basically was like, he sees how the crowd feels about Daniel Bryan. He knows how good Daniel Bryan is, and he wants to let Daniel Bryan have his shot.
Man, and then Vince, as people meme on John Cena, what a fucking guy.
Mm-hmm. And then Vince McMahon walked in and said, whoa, whoa, whoa. This guy is short. He's ugly. And I don't want him to be champion.
Fun fact, both those things, that thing happened, that Vince McMahon said that both in and out of kayfabe.
We'll get more into that in the back half.
Yes.
But yeah. So initially in the lead up to this match, it's Vince McMahon kind of playing the you ain't got what you don't have the right image to be a WWE champion. Mm-hmm. And there were like skits of him trying to like force Daniel Bryan to wear a nice suit and shave his beard off. And Daniel Bryan is like, no, fuck you. I'm doing it as me.
Man, why was Daniel Bryan ever a heel again? Okay, after the shitty abusive ex-boyfriend thing with AJ Lee was done, why was he ever a heel ever the fuck again? It's the rest of his time in the Fed is, why are you booing him? He's right.
Basically. But occasionally he was considered the bad guy for it. So then Triple H comes to the day and he's like, nah, I think Daniel Bryan is the future of the WWE. Vince.
Base.
Yeah. So Triple H, basically Vince McMahon tried to install a puppet referee here. Brad Maddox, who is the current Raw general manager. You'll remember him as being Vicky's beleaguered assistant on our first episode.
Oh, hey, that guy. The beleaguered assistant to the beleaguered assistant.
Yes, and so he is currently the Raw general manager, and Vince was going to make him the special referee to screw Daniel, and Triple H was like, no, you need an impartial referee, and I'll do it.
That's
of course, and it was great until SummerSlam when Triple H betrayed Daniel Bryan after the match, which I will say, Daniel Bryan beat John Cena clean as a whistle.
That sounds all right.
And then after the match, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Randy Orton walked down to the ring with Money in the Bank, teased he was going to do it, teased he was going to walk away, and then Triple H, pedigree, boom, cash in Money in the Bank. 1, 2, 3. Because Triple H didn't care about Daniel Bryan. He just wanted to install a different face of the company.
I see.
Randy Orton.
Yeah, the why why was he trying to like I guess like no, why the fuck was he trying to front it with Vince then? Like, just say you want Orton at the
Because
top. Why are you trying to front it with DB?
well, the implication is obviously he was in on it with Vince, but then to screw with Daniel because fuck you, that's why.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is just another McMahon family scheme. It doesn't necessarily have to make sense or be sufficiently simplistic. It's just a McMahon family plot.
I feel like in order to be a McMahon family plot, it has to have a few like completely unnecessarily convolutions thrown in there.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
Their signature move.
Yeah, they can't just have a straightforward plot. There's got to be convoluted twists and turns.
Absolutely. I've got a plan, and it involves a sledgehammer, 3 boxes of chocolates, and a monkey.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Dude, fucking I was hanging out with my brother and with Daniel on Christmas, and Daniel and I were joking about something, and I did something in like a vague Vince voice, and he goes like, "That's your Vince voice?" And I've been so self-conscious about my Vince voice ever since. I'm like, "Oh no. Oh god, I got to step it up."
There's like multiple Vince voices because
there are multiple Vince voices.
There's like his professional
his
low-key professional voice is like his like announcer voice. They're his like I'm a McMahon who's going insane voice. Like when he's here, he's getting up here, he's gonna rah.
When you basically need a dog to translate for you into English.
Yeah. Like there's multiple Vince voices and ways to impersonate Vince McMahon.
This is true. I feel like low key Vince is definitely like a tricky one to get. Whereas barking Vince is a little more like everyone can kind of like get there. Yeah.
Yeah. So Randy Orton is the new WWE champion. And tonight is the debut of the Authority. I'll just go ahead and say that now, of Triple H, which is Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, essentially.
Delightful. You will respect their authority.
Mm-hmm. And they will definitely not overstay their welcome at all.
Not at all. What are you talking about? Everyone loves Trips and Stephanie. That act has never gotten weird or overwrought ever. So let's just keep pushing it until the end of time.
Yep. So, if you would like to watch along with us, we're doing it on Peacock again. It is I will check the date, August 19th, 2013 episode of Monday Night Raw. It's on Peacock, WWE streaming service, the dealy deals. And so we will be back in the second half to talk about the night after SummerSlam.
Hell yeah, brother.
And we are back. We have just finished the August 19th, 2013 episode of Monday Night Raw, all 3 hours.
Oh my god. Well, all 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it still felt like a fucking eternity. Oh god. Oh, I'm so happy I don't watch Raw, dude.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. Especially when you're not connected to anything that's happening.
I apologize that you are not as jazzed about this as I am right now, because I feel like this is this real sweet spot. Finally, wrestling I'm both nostalgic about and don't feel embarrassed to show other people.
I will say, this is not bad. Like, this is pretty on par to me. Aside from like kind of the lack of work rate, this is pretty on par to me with like a standard episode of Dynamite, just plus 35 fucking minutes.
Yeah, it's a lot. I accept. I agree with that. I'm not going to love that element of it as we go forward.
So like, it's fine. It's fine. I just don't have any connection to anything that's going on right now. And I'm not like terribly impressed with the work. It's not bad. I'm just not like terribly impressed with it.
Sure. I'm just very excited to talk about the beginning of the show and the end of the show, which is
Yeah.
technically what we came for here anyway.
Yeah, motherfuckers got me watching 3-hour Raws only for the first and last segments to be important.
Hey, those took up like 40 minutes. Of
yeah,
the
why the fuck
so,
were those so long-winded, dude?
You've clearly forgotten what that first episode of Raw we watched is like.
Yeah,
we gotta fill time. We gotta talk and talk and talk.
By having people bloviate. Yeah, I mean, valid. Why have more wrestling on your wrestling show when you can just have more talking instead?
It's true. All right, let's get her started with the summer. I will explain why we picked this episode of Raw specifically, though I think David could probably. I mean,
it feels pretty self-evident, right? Like,
but yeah, I will explain for the people at home who are not watching along with us. But we'll get to that in a second. But we open with a SummerSlam recap of the main two matches. It's kind of whatever. It's amusing to watch these pay-per-view recaps in the era where they are literally selling pay-per-views. So like you get like slow motion video and screenshots and important moments. You get audio only. Like the pin where Daniel Bryan beats John Cena is a black screen with the 1, 2, 3 fan count.
Yeah, dude, it's they are making real sure that you gotta pay to see those moments.
The good shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, which makes something that happens in a little bit on this show really fucking funny. But stingy businessman Vince is at his fullest power here.
Yeah, well, that's not totally stingy. I think some of it is agreements with like pay-per-view providers, especially because they would have been selling. They don't advertise it here like they did back in like the Attitude Era, but they do sell like replay, rerun pay-per-views. Really? Yeah. Like that was the thing back in the Attitude Era is the Monday after the pay-per-view, they'd always hype like tomorrow night you can buy a rerun of this past Sunday's pay-per-view.
Man, back when pay-per-view really did mean pay-per-view.
Yep. 100%.
Not these days in the good old days of yo-ho world.
Well, that's why they've changed the name also to Premium Live Events is what they are officially designating these are. PLEs. Which I refuse to change my language on. They are always
those don't got quite the same ring to them, I must say.
Mm-hmm. So John Cena comes out to open the show. Immediately you hear boos in the crowd, and it's not going to get better for him either for the rest of the show.
Immediate like vitriol for Cena, which is hilarious. And Cena comes out and he gets on the mic and he goes, "Yeah, I agree with all of you. I also fucking hate myself.
Cena sucks. Cena sucks.
Yeah, Cena's basically just joining out on the Cena sucks chant. Like, bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Yeah. He starts describing what happened and he goes, when I was WWE champion, and everyone's goes, boo.
Yes, a thing people love being reminded of: John Cena's interminable reign as WWE champion.
Yeah, so what he was saying is that when he was WWE champion, he wanted to make sure that the next guy who was champion earned it.
Earned this.
Yeah, and this is when I noticed that John Cena has a massive shiner.
Oh my god, yeah. He like takes off his hat. He doffs his hat in this really like dramatic way. You just see like blue underneath one of his eyes. And you're like, oh no.
Mm-hmm. So John Cena admits he does not usually see eye to eye with Daniel Bryan. That was a part of the feud I didn't really mention in the front half, is they did lean into the Daniel Bryan be like, I'm a real wrestler.
Yeah. And John Cena, you're just a showboat, whatever.
Which I always hate. I don't want to like bloviate some more about how the pipe bomb is my platonic ideal of a worked shoot, but CM Punk very specifically doesn't say that John Cena is a bad wrestler. He says that he's better than Cena. And this stuff that starts here with Daniel, actually, that's not fair. In 2005, when Cena was first coming up, WWE tried to also play into like online criticism of John Cena and call him a bad wrestler. But Daniel Bryan's the first like indie dude who ever said it. And him being like, I wrestled in armories and bingo halls, which is always how they call indies, no matter the fact that, you know, TNA and ROH ran arenas before too. Not often, mind you, but they have.
No, but they have run arenas.
Yeah, but whatever. And him being like, I'm a real wrestler, not a sports entertainer, John.
Oh my God.
And it's like, this is fucking stupid, because in kayfabe, John Cena legit has won the title 10 goddamn times. He is a good wrestler by definition. Shut the fuck up.
That shit's always a little weird. I will say though, I imagine DB had to cut all those promos without actually saying the word wrestling though, correct?
No, he did. They let him be like, I'm a real wrestler. They
Wait, what? That. I thought
they used,
at this point
they let Daniel Bryan say it. Nobody else can. They let Daniel Bryan say it as a character beat for him. They can't say it otherwise.
Jesus Christ. That's a wild stop to put on your moratorium against the word wrestling. It's just to give it to Daniel Bryan. God damn.
But Cena talks about how he respects him, and you know, Bryan earned it last night, and this is when Cena reveals that like the match almost didn't happen because 2 weeks ago, and he points out this big fucking bump he's got on his tricep. God. It's so gross, and then I can't stop looking at it.
Cena's having a wild one. He tells the crowd to stop being racist to Daniel Bryan, and because he's like, well, because John Cena's like, I vowed to give a chance to give a fair shake to anyone who wants to enter this ring, no matter their race, creed, nationality, whatever. And it's
which is a funny thing to say for a white male
facing off like the whitest, malest dude. So he tells the crowd to stop being racist to Daniel Bryan, and then like lifts up his shoulder to show this fucking just massive skin bubble on his elbow. He's just this disgusting ass elbow blister. He's like, I got like a torn tricep or something. It just leaked fluid down to my elbow.
Yeah, so he has a torn tricep. He learned this 2 weeks ago, and the doctors were like, okay, cancel the match. And he's like, no. But he makes sure to say that this is not an excuse. Daniel Bryan won a clean, fair fight. But he also has to go have surgery, and he'll be gone.
You know, I understand in theory why Cena was so disliked, but like, goddamn, in this promo, especially as it goes on, he comes off as like so likable and so agreeable and like the most level-headed motherfucker you'll probably hear on the mic all night, and yet people still despise him. And man,
admittedly in 2013, a lot of it is residual at this point. Like, it's a bit like, this has been 8 goddamn years of this. We're just gonna keep going.
Yeah, it's true. Why do we still boo Cena in 2013? I'll tell you. I don't know, but it's a tradition.
I mean, it is eventually, like, basically as soon as he like starts going away on a regular basis and coming back, then everyone stops booing him as hard.
You know what?
Because
this is delightful. But yeah, so he's talking about how he made sure he still put up that fight for DB, and then he talks about but then when I came to with this massive shiner and I was put in a a ribeye steak on it, and I'm like, of goddamn course, Cena's one of those motherfuckers that actually like puts a cold raw steak on his black eye.
Oh,
like
before you continue that, I do want to say that I wrote a note of when he announced that he has to leave, he has to go have surgery. He says, "Tonight I leave the WWE." Huge cheers, and people start doing the yes chant.
Yeah. Oh, everyone's super into it. But yeah, no, like, fighting back from Cena or anything. He's like, yeah, no, all right, I'll get out of your hair. Everyone, please welcome Daniel Bryan, please. And DB comes out, and Cena just, like, wordlessly hands him the mic, and then wordlessly steps out of the ring. And, like, goddamn, like, I know that WWE in 2013 did not have people pitching their own shit, but I do feel like this is a genuine Cena moment of just like graciously putting over another dude. Like,
yeah, like
it's just wholesome. Like,
especially in a situation where John Cena is about to leave. This is like him telling the audience, especially the audience, specifically the audience that does like Cena, that like, this is your new hero while I'm gone.
Yup. Yeah, it's really gracious and actually kind of wholesome, and it's awesome. And DB like grabs the mic, and before he can say a word, Stephanie comes out.
Style and grace, and welcome to the Queendom. Queendom.
Is her theme song fucking ripping off the Donkey Kong rap? How dare they?
Of course. And so Stephanie McMahon. So okay, before we get here, I'll go ahead and preface. Obviously, the number one reason that I picked this episode to be part 1 of 2 of the prologue of the story is basically this is the villain motivation episode. If you want to know the philosophical underpinnings of the Authority, both in terms of honestly Daniel Bryan's story and overall, this episode covers it. And I'll be honest. Maybe it's because I have forgotten what these promos have sounded like every week for years. Maybe it's nostalgia, but I loved every minute of Stephanie McMahon and Triple H tonight.
I pretty much did. Like, I didn't like kind of how long-winded they were, but I think that might just be a bias thing, because I'm sure, like, if I were to watch it, I'm trying to be in this arc specifically because I know how close we are. Like, I can't. I have to be very conscious, I feel like, of my biases here, of like what I would let Dynamite get away with versus what I would let Raw get away with. So so like I kind of get annoyed with how long-winded it is, but I'm sure like there are plenty of like AEW stars that could go on like this. But I don't know, it like their speeches, Trips especially, felt like kind of like slow paced and low energy, which was kind of a markdown in it for me. But like overall, you know, it was pretty good. Stephanie shows up and she apologizes on behalf of her husband and his like power moves for the company. Yeah,
she hopes that Daniel understands that Triple H is the COO and he was only doing what was best for business.
Yeah, and the entire crowd
that phrase forever.
Yeah, and the entire crowd is booing her, and Daniel Bryan looks at this entire crowd booing her, chanting his name, and goes, "Jesse, what the fuck are you talking about?" And then Daniel Bryan goes, "Also, Stephanie, you smell like shit."
Yeah. Okay. So first he said he says he expected what happened last night from you, Stephanie. He expects it from Vince, but from Triple H, a little bit of a weird revisionist take on Triple H here. But you know, Triple H was a rebel. He was the leader of D-Generation X, man. And now he's gone corporate. He's wearing a suit and he's got a corporate haircut.
I feel like DB's missing the part where Triple H always has been and always will be a motherfucking snake.
Yep, but you know, gotta tell a story here.
So yeah.
And he says that he gives Stephanie the much less rude version. He basically does an offshoot of when you lie down with dogs, you get fleas, where he says when you lie down with trash, you end up stinking.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, Daniel Bryan says, Stephanie, you smell like shit. And Stephanie comes back with, well, you smell like short.
And Stephanie says this graciously is going to let that whole thing slide and not let it go. And Daniel goes, hey, everyone, look at that. Cheer for Stephanie. She said she's going to let it go.
Yeah, he takes that about as well as you would expect.
Yeah, he goes, what are you going to do? Fire me? I'll go back to wrestling in armories. I'm not afraid of being fired.
Dude, he's so fucking cool. Daniel Bryan, once he stopped being the world's most obnoxious douchebag, God, he's so cool. And he remains cool a decade later. Like, holy shit, dude. This man's got so much fucking natural swagger. He's just so cool.
Yep. So Daniel Bryan swears that, like, he gets it. He's about to get fired tonight, but before he goes, he is going to kick Triple H or Randy Orton's ass. And Stephanie's like, no one wants you fired, Daniel. You're all worked up. Your anger management issues are really a problem here, but you are very valued here, Daniel.
You make us money.
But I need to manage your expectations. I wrote down this quote for quote because it's the most important quote of the entire episode. Not everyone can be WWE championship material. You're what? 5'8", 200 pounds? She kind of looks at his face. He's like, we can't all be supermodels. And she's like, but you're good. You're written. The fans really like you. And you might not be an A, but you are a B+. A solid B+.
A solid B+. As if that's like a consolation.
So that is the onus of it all, is that Daniel Bryan is simply not WWE championship material. He is just a little too short and a little too small and a little too ugly. But he's a good wrestler. The people like him. So that he's a B+ player. He is a good hand, and he is valued by the WWE.
Yeah. Stephanie's like, you're ugly as sin, but goddamn, those yes shirts sell like hotcakes.
And like, this honestly, is the underpinning of why this angle got as hot as it did, is because this angle felt like the WWE the authority was just saying what everyone backstage in WWE thinks about Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
And that resonated with fans as like, this isn't just like fictionally they're fucking with Daniel. This feels like feels like real shit's happening right now, because it conforms to our expectations of what WWE actually thinks about.
Yeah, because to fans, and I mean, hell, even to me, having the opinions I do about the people who run WWE, it just kind of feels like they, in kayfabe, let their fictional versions of themselves say the quiet part out loud, and that's fucked to hear. But it's also kind of like great to hear, like refreshing honesty, but like refreshing honesty that builds heat. So
yes,
brilliant scripting here from them, I think. And it's Daniel Bryan.
It's just a brilliant way they constructed this storyline here.
Absolutely. Even if I kind of want to like have this as the preface and then like go into my full thoughts on kind of this setup when we get to it at the end of the show. But yeah,
okay.
So Daniel Bryan comes back at Stephanie with, well, funny, you're starting to remind me of a word that starts with the letter B right now. I was also looking at Stephanie and thinking blueberries. So
of course, I looked at Stephanie and said blunt is what I was thinking. Of course,
I'm glad we're all on the same page. Yeah.
Yes, that is what Daniel Bryan was implying.
So basically, Stephanie's had enough of Daniel Bryan talking back to her, because how dare he actually, and so she calls security on him to get him thrown out of the building.
Yeah, she won't stand for Bryan being unprofessional and uncouth.
Oh my
so
God.
Security,
You built an entire
here.
brand off of unprofessionalism and uncouthness. What the fuck are you on about, you bitch?
Well, they're corporate now, and I have thoughts to say about this when we get to the end and we get to Triple H's whole spiel.
Okay.
But yeah, she calls for security. Daniel Bryan does choose to comply. The crowd is chanting no as he leaves. But before he leaves fully, he turns around and then just starts doing coercing no chants from the crowd as he walks away.
Oh, he's screaming no as he gets let out. Yeah, but so that's that. Great opening promo from the two of them and from Cena as well. Again, gracious shit from Cena. But then we cut to a WWE SummerSlam fun fact, which is basically just masturbating SummerSlam's ratings.
It is. They masturbated how SummerSlam had the most social media engagement of any channel ever. Of course, recognizing that on August 18th, 2013, almost no new television is airing.
Wait, it wasn't even views. It was social media interaction.
Yes, it was social media engagement is what they were jerking off about.
Yeah, they basically just go in there like, hey, did you know that WWE SummerSlam is the most important thing to happen on television ever? And everyone was like, I kind of doubt that. And WWE went, shh, Twitter. But look at Twitter, though.
But look at the Twitter.
But look at, man, they're fucking pushing Twitter hard on commentary. They really gave a shit about their Twitter interactions, dude. It's kind of weird.
Tout is dead. We'll just go all in on Twitter.
Tout. Rip in peace, Tout. We barely knew ye.
Yeah.
But
the
yeah,
first match of the show is
fucking
a rematch from SummerSlam. Damian Sandow versus Cody Rhodes.
What's a blow-off match? I've never heard of that concept.
Okay. The first note I make on this match, I don't make a lot of match notes anymore.
Yeah, because it's boring as sin.
Yeah. The first match note I make is that Michael Cole remarks that Cody Rhodes doesn't have a mustache anymore, which is true. He had a full, thick mustache as part of the Rhodes Scholars, but he's a baby face, so he shaved that off.
Baby face.
And they're like, if you're wondering why he did that, check out the JBL and Cole show on YouTube. So I should mention this, is that during this time, JBL and Michael Cole had a skit comedy show on YouTube.
Oh, I'm sure
JBL
it was
and Cole show.
I'm sure it was
side-splitting. Daniel Bryan as the Dazzler, who raps and kicks bears in the face, was hilarious.
Okay, that actually does sound great. God damn
Daniel Bryan was a delight.
Weird amount of WWE stars who are getting themselves over in one form or other by rap. Weird amount of wrestlers out there who get themselves over in one form or another by rapping.
Hell yeah, man. Nothing gets the people going more like white dudes rapping.
Well, see, I feel like we've made progress in the year of our Lord 2022 because at least the act that got over with rapping this year is actually two black men. At the very least, now we get black dudes getting over by rapping. So we're making progress in the world, I feel like.
Eminem is no longer like a weird new thing that we have to feel like we have to touch on, take advantage of in the pop culture.
Multiple times over, yes.
Yeah, all right.
Instead, we're all here for our diss raps.
The crowd is very engaged in this match because they start chanting for Jerry and then JBL.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even catch that. I love how that's just a thing that the crowd defaults to. When they don't give a shit about the match, they just chant for the announcers because why not?
Yeah. The match is very standard WWE working. Cody Rhodes is not quite his best self yet as a wrestler. Damian, and as an in-ring wrestler, Damian Sandow is a fantastic character actor. Put it like that.
Yeah, he did have some great faces during this match. I'll give him that. He made some good Angie boy faces.
The best part was I got to relive Damien Sandow's. Let me make sure I got it. Cubito Acayet, which is butchered Latin, which vaguely doesn't correctly translate apparently, but vaguely is supposed to translate as the elbow of disdain. And it's it's just like an elbow drop done like the people's elbow, but he doesn't run the ropes.
So
but it's called the
people's elbow with a Latin name and lamer.
Yes, the elbow of disdain.
What? Oh yeah. No, I Austin, I'm failing to understand why this guy just couldn't get over.
I mean, he gets over, just not that much. He doesn't get over doing this. His most over is when he starts doing Macho Man impersonations. Like
Jay Lethal called. He would like to have a conversation with you.
You see, it's different because it was a Mega Powers ripoff because Curtis Axel starts doing Hulk Hogan impressions as well.
Yes.
And then Hulk Hogan's sex tape drops and the gimmick dies.
Uh-oh. Man, that's a hell of a domino effect.
It is.
Terry Bollea has sex with Bubba the Love Sponge's wife and just kind of ends the careers of Damien Sandow and Curtis Axel in the process. Yep. Oh, no. Also, when you talked about the whole Cody threw the Money in the Bank briefcase into the river and Damien got a leather one, I assumed it was a generic, like, leather briefcase that, like, law students carry around, not a goddamn custom one that has the fucking Money in the Bank logo also bubbled out on it.
Yeah, I mean, how else are you going to know he's carrying Money in the Bank if Money in the Bank is not on the side of the briefcase?
Well, it just made me think, we're in a Daniel Bryan-centric arc. Everyone, and for good fucking reason, everyone talks about the wooden championship belt, which yes, based and objectively correct because it's sick. But I've never seen anyone talk about this goddamn leather custom Money in the Bank briefcase. And honestly, I think that's a tragedy. I'm kind of here for this. I love alt skins.
It is pretty sweet. It's such a cool thing they gave to a guy who is not going to win anything.
Yeah, no, like that's a unique as fuck prop, and it actually looks like pretty cool. I would own one of those if I could. Mm-hmm. Would I own the actual Money in the Bank briefcase? No, I'd look like a fucking idiot. But I'd own that leather one because I'd look like at least a classy idiot.
Of course.
Absolutely.
At one point, Jerry Lawler goes on some tangent about how like arrogant that Damien Sandow is, and his story is apparently like the actor who plays the principal from Saved by the Bell is in attendance, allegedly. Mm-hmm. And allegedly, I mean, they don't show him on camera. I can't confirm he was there. And then Damien Sandow allegedly tried to like snipe at him about how bad he is as a teacher. And Jerry is like, look at this arrogant guy. It's like, bro, he's not a real teacher. He's an actor.
What the on a hell? TV show. Yeah, I don't. What was that story? Where did it? What is happening?
It was a stupid story, is what it was.
It was a dumb fucking story. Yeah. What else? God, what else is going on here?
At one point late in the match,
comment about like Sandow did not take well to the match did not take well to like losing the match last night. And man, if only we saw any of that shit as reason for this match being put on instead of just kind of cutting right to it without even seeing any goddamn entrances.
Yeah, they just
showing and not. I love telling and not showing.
Of course. The crowd at one point chants at Cody, "Where's your mustache?"
Where's your mustache? Fun fact, that's also what I wish people would chant to me when I shave. But no, nobody gives a shit when I go babyface.
That's because people want you to go babyface.
Hey, fuck you. Fuck you. I think I look delightful. I feel like my whole look right now is kind of like pizza delivery guy chic, and I think that's a good look on me, I must say.
Is it a good look?
Hey, YouTube viewers, is it a good look, and why is it? Because
get in the comments.
Get in the comments and tell me
David until David looks like shit.
Hey, fuck you. Hey, fuck you. Fuck. I ain't no Daniel Bryan. I'm a Randy Orton, baby. I'm a supermodel.
Okay.
I deserve the championship belt.
Cody wins this match by he gets Sandow in the corner and then rolls him up out of the corner. That's called an O'Connor roll for those of you noobs at home. And Cody Rhodes gets the win.
Yes.
So Cody Rhodes beats Damian Sandow, Mr. Money in the Bank.
Again.
So
yeah, we're all stingy about not showing shit from the pay-per-view last night, but we're also good with just giving away one of the matches from the pay-per-view for free, but like dumber and shittier. Okay. Also, commentary is talking about how apparently Cody's like using this to angle for a championship shot because he's now beaten Mr. Money in the Bank twice, as if that means anything when Mr. Money in the Bank is Damian fucking Sandow.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know right now. That will not lead to anything. He will in fact not get a title match.
Wow, no way. Wow, what a shocker. I mean, I'm a little surprised he doesn't even get a single like titled shot thing out of it.
Fuck you.
But like, I'm not surprised that like nothing came of this because again, Mr. Money in the Bank is Damian fucking Sandow. Cody's not really raising his profile here all that much.
So up next, Brad Maddox.
Up next, WWE tries to do "We Didn't Start the Fire."
No, that's not that yet. I made a note of when that was.
Okay.
First, we get Brad Maddox, Raw General Manager, on the screen talking about how after last night, several WWE superstars expressed their disdain to him for what happened in the main event. And he pulls out a quote from Dolph Ziggler about how he basically says he's never trusted Triple H. And Brad Maddox is like, well, Mr. Ziggler, he calls himself the show off. And we here at the WWE would like to give Dolph Ziggler a chance to show off tonight in a 3-on-1 handicap match against the Shield.
Why?
Because they're a tyrannical regime seeking to punish all dissenters by having the Shield beat them up.
Yeah, but like, okay, yeah. So I guess Shield is just here to just
the
do
Shield.
the
Shield are corporate authority lapdogs.
They're corporate authority mercenaries.
Yep. Now we start the fire.
Yeah, now WWE tries to do "We Didn't Start the Fire." What the fuck was this, Austin?
It was a WWE magazine ad. It was absolutely insane, and I loved it.
Yeah, they were like doing a fucking patter song speed rap about, I don't know, all of the possible iconography that you could ever associate with the Fed up to this point.
Yep, it was insane.
Yeah, it was so fucking wild. I mean, it was kind of a bop, but also what the shit.
Again, this is more proof, in my opinion, that we need the WWE magazine back so that they have an excuse to do more of these ads.
Yeah, I'm sure shit would get even more unhinged with whatever song they put together about it. Will they lampshade Vince's promiscuities? Probably not, but it'd be really funny if they did.
It would. All right, we cut then to Paul Heyman in the ring in a sling because CM Punk injured his arm last night.
Good, correct.
And Paul Heyman basically calls CM Punk a child, a baby bird who needed to leave the nest. But he does admit that he pushed Brock to the limit, that he gave Brock everything Brock could handle. Which, again, this is pre-streak Brock being admitted vulnerability. Again, this feels weird.
I know, this feels wrong. Also, why the fuck is it that every time Heyman says Brock Lesnar's name, it kind of sounds like he's coming a little? Like, Every
Brock
time.
Lesnar.
Every time. Every
That's
fucking time he says it like
that's
that.
That's just the intonation he's chosen for saying
It
Brock's
sounds like
name.
he's so horny. I mean, like, you know, good
Well,
on
you know,
you, man.
honestly, this arc feels like this storyline can be read kind of gay, but we'll get there when CM Punk shows up.
Yeah. Oh, no. Absolutely. Yeah. But, yeah, so Heyman, it was really funny because I put in my notes, like, as Heyman was just talking about, like, he basically calls out to Punk, like, hey, you haven't done anything that I can't yet forgive. But so I wrote it down as, like, Heyman says, prodigal son, come home. And then, and Heyman goes on to be like, you know, if you come out here, Punk, and you apologize to me, then I would more than happily take you back, and together we can yada, yada, yada. So, first of all, Heyman seems to be under the delusion that CM Punk is capable of apologizing to anybody for anything. But what was really funny is after I wrote, just like generally Heyman says, prodigal son, come home, he literally calls Punk the prodigal son, and then proceeds to call him the prodigal son multiple times throughout the evening.
Yeah, Paul Heyman says that he's more of a father. He's been more of a father figure to Punk than that sperm donor that sired him in Chicago, which is an accurate statement, I'm sure, because, you know, it's pretty easy to be more of a father figure than CM Punk's biological father.
Fucking true. You know what? Good line there from Heyman. Also, thinking of putting, like, Heyman and CM Punk into the prodigal son story just makes me think of, like, Brock Lesnar just pathetically whining to Heyman about, oh, why does he get the fatted calf for coming home? Why does he?
I mean,
why does he get the belt, Daddy?
Brock is the big brother that beat up his younger brother.
Yeah, fucking true. That'd be a funny way to see that play out. Yeah,
I'm here for the Heyman family sitcom coming to you this fall on CBS.
Dude, I fucking hate how goddamn charismatic Paul Heyman is. Holy shit, you were so right about Silver Tongue. Like, that man is so good at talking. I hate it. I'm so charmed by him every time he's on screen, even though I know he's a bastard in, like, IRL. God, he's so fucking charming. Why is he so charming? I hate it. It feels icky to like him. But I love his promo cutting. God fucking damn. And I would so consume the fuck out of a Paul Heyman family sitcom. Are you kidding me? That shit would be hilarious. And Heyman would win, I'm sure, many Emmys.
Of course. So he kind of caps it off by saying, Punk, I still love you. Ugh. And together we will be the best in the world.
Yeah, the crowd's not too amused by that turn of phrase.
No, but JBL understands that this was a noble gesture by Paul Heyman, and we should all be so forgiving.
Oh my God, I fucking hate JBL. He's simping so hard. It's hysterical.
Backstage, we get some catty bullshit with the Funkadactyls and the Bellas, and honestly, I thought they were going to have a match.
Yeah.
But
no. We get the Funkadactyls come out, which are the Funkasauruses to
cheerleaders, but now they're also wrestlers.
Which, you know, I'm happy for. Today I learned that Naomi fucking started off as one of the Funkadactyls, which, you know what, good for her. Everybody's got to start somewhere, even if it's working for goddamn Tyrus.
Yep. As they were coming out, I asked, where is Planet Funk? Because that is where they are billed from. And then JBL on commentary also asked where Planet Funk was.
Yeah. I don't know.
And Jerry Lawler gives an answer as if the answer to that question is a strip club Jerry Lawler has been to in Memphis.
Honestly, I could see that. I could see Jerry Lawler going to a strip club called Planet Funk.
Mm-hmm. But the Funkadactyls are not wrestling the Bella Twins tonight. They are wrestling Layla, we remember as the Divas champion from 2012, and AJ Lee, who is the current Divas champion.
Yes. And they're on instruction from the Bellas tonight to like make the Total Divas brand look good, because I guess AJ and Layla aren't part of Total Divas?
No.
Question mark.
The Total Divas cast are the Bella Twins, the Funkadactyls, Natalia, Eva Marie, and JoJo, the last two being rookies who basically came into the WWE through Total Divas.
Okay, sidebar, if Total Divas wasn't like the full Divas Raw, how the fuck did that show work? What was that show?
It was basically just following the trial, the real life dramas of those particular women, which sometimes was about wrestling, sometimes it wasn't. But they basically just never involved the women that aren't on Total Divas.
Interesting. Reality TV is weird. Yeah, okay. So
it's fine.
AJ...
They mostly didn't do in-ring drama, so it was pretty easy to just kind of edit our way around.
Okay, well that's nice. Yeah, I'm sure you get videos of their home lives and shit. Sure. Yeah.
So John Cena and Daniel Bryan featured as among the best part of the show. Of course.
Yeah, because they were dating Bella Twins.
Yeah, and we get Tyson Kidd, who's Natalia's husband, who is also hilarious. Also, Jim Neidhart was a fucking delightful weirdo.
Jim Neidhart?
Yeah, man, because remember, that's Natalia's dad.
Oh, I always forget.
It's easy to forget. Because they just talk about how her Uncle Brett.
Her Uncle Brett. Her uncle is Bret Hart, and she has no other important relative.
Of course. We get some of the Usos we get some of the Usos too because of Naomi. It's neat.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one too. Yeah, so apparently AJ Lee has we were told on commentary as AJ's coming out, she has over 100 million Twitter followers, which damn, that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Is that an inflated figure, do we think, or is that like real?
I mean, it probably did in fact say 100 million Twitter followers on her page. How many are bots? Who could say, really?
Oh no. Vince is in his fucking office setting up Twitter bots to follow AJ for the sake of the storyline.
But hey, man, simps get a simp. I'm sure plenty of them were legitimate.
This is true. Maybe I even would have been one of them back in the days of 2013.
If I had a Twitter in 2013, I would.
Oh, you would have been simping hard. You would have been simping hard for AJ. Don't even try.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Lawler, of course, is fixated on what other aspect of AJ, but of course her mental health, in which he calls her schizophrenic, and later on says that she once said to Dolph Ziggler, "I love you, and so do I," which I think is Jerry Lawler doing the meme. Yeah, doing the meme of conflating schizophrenia with multiple personality disorder, which shut up, Lawler.
Yep. So the match itself, the entire match is AJ kicking Naomi's ass.
Mm-hmm.
Then Layla tags in, and Naomi tries to do a hot tag to Cameron, but Layla stops it, and then Naomi just rolls Layla up and wins.
Yeah, I don't know how the fuck we had some weird last second reversal matches tonight, and this was one of them.
I get what happened here because this is the put over Total Divas match, so the people who are on Total Divas win.
Yeah, but make it make sense,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Then we get the Be a Star ad.
Yeah, dude, watching
WWE's big charity initiative.
Watching heels do the Be a Star promos is really funny.
I guess Miz is kind of a babyface this moment, but you still get guys like Hall of Pain era Mark Henry was doing Don't Be a Bully.
Okay.
Children.
Dude. Sure.
Amusing. We get an earlier tonight recap of the opening promo, and then we get to Dolph Ziggler versus The Shield. And right away, JBL is simping for this, and as justifiable action. And Michael Cole for Dolph Ziggler's comments, and Michael Cole be like, "This is America. We got freedom of speech." And of course, JBL has to be a total boomer about it. And his response is, "Oh yeah, well, what about respect for the man who pays you?"
Dude, I fucking hate JBL. I just don't have anything I don't ever have anything intelligent to say with JBL. It's just blinding red rage on the spot of just pure hatred.
JBL does the wrestling equivalent of shut up and dribble by basically saying that he, as a commentator, is paid to make statements and have opinions about what's going on, while Dolph Ziggler is paid to wrestle, and therefore it is okay that he was punished for his opinions because he is not paid to give opinions.
That's totally fine. Fucking free speech for me, but not for thee. Am I right, boys?
Classic. And then basically I wrote the Shield absolutely doing work because that was what most of the match is.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Shield's just putting in the work. The entire, front half of this match is, the Shield beating up on Ziggler. It's really funny, too, because they get, one full rotation of tagging each other in, and then Dean Ambrose gets another go, and then makes another fucking tag to Roman, and it is only at this second time Roman's getting tagged in, 4th overall tag of the match, 5th overall legal man of the match from the Shield, that Ziggler, manages to do, this pop-up drop kick against Roman, pop-up drop kick against Roman, which actually is pretty fucking sick.
It was good. It was also very funny because Roman gets in the ring and he cockily slowly walks over to Ziggler like he thinks he's got it in the bag already. And then Ziggler just
whoop-bam, just flies up. It's like, fuck you, which was awesome.
And then Ziggler does a super sick move where he suplexes Rollins over the ring to the floor.
Yeah, what the shit? And Rollins falls to the floor clutching his knee. Don't know what that was about. And even commentary is what the hell is that about?
Yeah, but Roman is down in the corner. Ziggler goes to do a big splash jump into the corner, and Roman just jumps up and spear tackles in midair. Get the fuck out.
Also sick.
Shield wins 1, 2, 3, and then they go up for the triple power bomb.
Which is mostly just Roman doing a power bomb, while the other two guys just kind of place their hand on the other guy's chest.
The triple power bomb is Roman power bombs a guy, and then Ambrose and Rollins each put a hand on their side just for support.
Yeah, pretty much. I love when you have assist moves like that where it's just one guy doing most of the work, but just the other guys just kind of add in for show. It's that one fucking move from the Young Bucks where Nick's got someone head down ready for a pile driver, and then
the Meltzer driver.
What?
The Meltzer driver.
Yeah, the Meltzer driver. Where Matt's got to come off the top rope to just kind of land on his ass kind of right in front of him and lightly put his hand on the side of the guy.
Yeah.
That Nick is
slam down the pile driver.
Yeah, it's it looks cool, but also it looks so fucking unnecessary for Matt to do that. I love moves like that where it's just the other dudes are just kind of being there for show, but it's sold as being so much extra power.
Yep. Then we get to match 4 of the evening. As I told David when we were watching this, I cannot believe we accidentally saw this and I would ever get a chance to talk about it on the podcast.
I gotta say something though. Fucking, we in between these two matches, we get our second ad of the evening for Randy Orton's coronation at the end of the show, and we get a whole bunch of these throughout the show, which is annoying in its own right. But for some reason, all of these open with this weird Eye of Sauron-ass graphic.
Oh, yeah. That's reason.
I don't know why, but they're just Eye of Sauron, Randy Orton coronation. Is Randy Orton a noted Lord of the Rings fan?
Obviously.
Clearly. Yeah, okay.
WWE title is the One Ring, of course. What else would it be?
And Hey, I guess that would make Triple H Saruman the White then, because he's like he heel turns and fucks over the heroes to allow the main bad guy to gain more power. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, match 4, Alberto Del Rio versus Sin Cara.
Yeah, the man without face is here. I was worried that we get an old Sin Cara staple of the ring being doused in some dumb fuck yellow light for some reason, but luckily that wasn't the case.
No, so
sorry, one more thing I gotta point out is as Sin Cara's walking out, Lawler's going, one of our favorites, JBL. We haven't seen him in a while. And JBL goes, you still haven't. He's wearing a mask. Shut up. Shut up, JBL. God.
Shut the fuck up, John.
Yeah. Yeah, but Sin Cara's out here and fucking
I have one thing to note before we get to the thing this match is about. So
yeah,
Del Rio apparently put a bunch of mini Mexican flags in the corner because apparently this is a thing now. He cut a promo about it at SummerSlam and I ignored it because I was like, okay, whatever. But apparently no, we're doing a thing because now Alberto Del Rio is basically being like, Mexico has no heroes, you peasant losers, but don't worry, I am here. I can be your hero.
Pretty much. Yeah, no, he's here to pander, and commentary points out as much, and the crowd
they do acknowledge
Del Rio is. But at one point, Austin starts in a few seconds into this match, Austin starts going. He does something that always concerns me, where his eyes light up and his smile gets real wide, and he's like, "Oh, this is that match," and I go, "Oh no."
Okay, so can't even be 2 minutes into the match.
Not even. It's like 90.
Alberto Del Rio is on the outside. Sin Cara is doing a dive, and he does a dive at him, and immediately Sin Cara falls over, calls the ref over to him, and has the match thrown out. Because what happened is Sin Cara on that dive broke a finger. And so he was like, we're ending the match right now. And Del Rio is fucking pissed about it. And it was a whole big this was a whole big stink in 2013 that Sin Cara was too big of a coward loser bitch to not work through a broken finger and call the match early.
Okay. So, because the wild thing was fucking Del Rio starts beating up on Sin Cara, and I was like, "Yeah, he's going hard for
he's
heat,
shoot. No, he's like shoot mad." That they did that. He did.
Was this supposed to be like a big match? Because the way they ended this shit after Sin Cara was like wheeled away kind of made it read like this is supposed to be a pretty easy squash of Sin Cara.
Well, yeah, but he still went and refused to finish the match as initially booked. So, that's feels. How dare you bitch?
That feels shitty. Oh yeah, how dare you not want to work through a broken finger? It's just a finger. Fuck off.
Yeah, that's wrestling. That's wrestling culture for you.
God, I hate.
Gotta work through the injuries.
And I fucking hate. And I goddamn hate wrestling culture. Also, Doc Samson works for WWE in 2013.
Yeah. Shit. Long time WWE doctor, Doc Samson.
God, well, because now he's with AEW. We've been hearing on AEW a whole fucking lot about Doc Samson because they keep basically every single week checking in on the goddamn concussion that Jon Moxley gave Adam Page. So what? Jesus, I guess wrestling doctor is just a vocation these days, huh?
Heck yeah, man!
Jumping companies, holy shit! Yeah.
Doc Samson is all elite. Where's his fleet?
The greatest of all signings. So Doc Samson checks out Sin Cara and they throw out the match. And Del Rio cuts what reads like a time waster promo at first. He's basically just like, "Yeah, I'm so great," da 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 da, and then he starts pandering to like the Latino audience, and since we're in Anaheim, it's working, unfortunately.
Right, which
it was funny too
because you're not supposed to like him for this.
Yeah, and also I just don't like Alberto Del Rio, period. But I feel like it was funny too because I was thinking, I'm like, I feel like we've seen something like this before, and I realized, if I remember correctly, this reads a weird amount like the fucking opening promo from the Mexicools that we saw at the beginning of our 2005 arc.
There are elements to it that are similar.
Yeah, because weren't they going like Hispanics feel free to like be lazy or whatever? They were trying to also appeal to the Latino audience.
It was like half Hispanics rise up and half Hispanics are lazy, like stereotypes say they are.
It was so weird. So at least this was a slightly more dignified version of that. But in the middle of all this, fucking Alberto's little personal LeFou Ricardo comes out. But yeah, I guess
apparently
Alberto,
at some point they broke up. Yeah, I don't remember when that happened. But it did. And Ricardo is like, Alberto, you are no hero to anybody. And he is happy that he doesn't have to represent Del Rio anymore. And he's representing somebody new, somebody who will stand for people. And I hear a few people try to chant Ray when he's like, I have a new person. But no, instead, he has the true man of the people, Rob Van Dam.
All hail the weed man. The true proletarian hero, the weed man.
I remember that Rob Van Dam and Alberto Del Rio feud over the world title in 2013. I completely forgot this is how and why.
Over the world title.
So RVD gets in the ring. There's a little bit of brawling, but RVD gets the upper hand. He sets up for the 5-star frog splash, and Del Rio gets the fuck out of here.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then it's time for the real Americans.
We the people.
Zeb Coulter heard Alberto Del Rio talking about Mexicans, and he's like, I got something to say.
Well, let me tell you something, dude.
So Zeb Coulter references, there's been a lot of headlines recently, and I don't know what he's talking about because it was 10 years ago.
I'm sure it's something racially charged.
Sure. But he's like, we need headlines about the real house. Antonio Cesaro and Jack Swagger are real Americans because they're good and pure, not like the people. He didn't say that part because that's the quiet part. We're not saying that out loud yet. Not like the people in this town who are not good and pure
and not white.
And so he shits on Disneyland. It's a small world and shit.
He's like, I heard some fucking illegals in front of me.
Okay. So he goes that he is ashamed of this country because of them damn illegals. Today he was out shopping, and there were some illegals in front of him paying with a credit card that was tax dollars.
A debit card that was paid for by his tax dollars.
His tax dollars from their money coming from some job that they stole sneaking across the border from some real American.
I just want to know how the fuck Zeb Coulter thinks debit cards work. Why do you think your tax dollars are paying for their debit cards? That debit
This is the follow up to the Obama phones, the Obama cards.
Are you is this meant to go a few layers deep where your taxpayer dollars are directly funding the banks that hold their money that they can then pull from with their debit cards? Are you saying that secretly Zeb Coulter is also talking about the Jews? well, color me surprised. Oh my god. Yeah, this motherfucker. What I want to know is how the fuck were these guys heels? okay, I know I've pontificated on this before, and I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, my conclusion was, oh, we're in the Obama years. People are complacent and aren't as weird about saying, but like, God, this literally just reads like a Trump speech, and like, it didn't take all that much more coercion to like get people really on board with like Trump tier rhetoric. So how the fuck were these guys heels?
I mean, they're heels until you get to the catchy catchphrase, because all you really need is a nice catchy catchphrase. Like, I don't know, we the people, make America great again, something like that. And suddenly
Cesaro and Swagger are putting their hands over their hearts and going, make America great again, and everyone's popping for it.
Of course, and suddenly all that hateful rhetoric is just forgotten.
It's just fun. We like chanting things. Don't think about what it implies. We just like chanting things. America.
Yep. And so we got a full-blown taste of Zeb Coulter that, holy shit.
I did not miss seeing his dumb fucking face.
Never forget that Zeb Coulter was so shocking and out there for his air for 2013 that like Glenn Beck was like, the fuck is WWE doing over there?
No way! How the fuck do you get too extreme in your rhetoric for Glenn fucking Beck?
Okay, Glenn Beck talked their shit, and it literally, after that, WWE posted a video on their YouTube page where Zeb Coulter broke character and was like, brother, it's kayfabe.
I think Glenn Beck was just worried about Zeb Coulter saying the quiet part out loud. I think that was just the concern there, honestly. What I want to see now is like Glenn Beck gathering a whole entourage. Like, I want to see Glenn Beck like get a fucking like trios team going with like him, Rush Limbaugh, and Dennis Prager, where they come to the ring and shit and cut promos shitting on like Zeb Coulter, the true Americans. Mm-hmm. and then Claudio does a fucking spin move on Rush Limbaugh.
Of course. I would like to make sure to emphasize to the people here is that every single time Zeb Coulter says that talks about illegal sneaking across the border, he does little hands like his fingers of them sneaking across the border.
Across the border. So fucking stupid.
He needed to send his real Americans to go do what JBL did in 2005 and do a little border patrol.
Man,
beat up the illegals that are coming across.
I forgot about JBL doing border patrol. Holy shit.
It was his most iconic moment in his entire WWE title reign. It was him going to the Texas border and beating up people he thought were illegals crossing.
and motherfucking man, WWE, not at all a fraught history with foreigners and illegal immigrants. No, sir, they're not weird at all about that shit. Why do you ask? No, but I mean, thankfully,
look at the real Americans. Zeb Coulter has no problem with immigration. He loves, Antonio Cesaro, who has gone through the system the proper way.
Our model minority from Switzerland.
He just doesn't like those illegal immigrants coming across the border from Mexico.
Never mind that his perfect example of an immigrant is white as snow.
What are you trying to say?
Fuck? What the fuck are you trying to imply? No. Let me try that. I'm gonna try that one more. God, I'm still in deadlock bits now. Oh no.
Thankfully,
his model immigrant is the perfect guy. He's from all the way in Europe. Fuck, Switzerland. Shit, it has nothing to do with race.
Exactly.
But luckily, the primetime players are here to to stop Zeb Coulter from talking by starting a match with the True Americans.
And now the primetime players. Now those are two people that I expect Zeb Coulter would at least once tell to shut up and dribble.
I'm sure he'd find some way to. I'm sure he could get real spicy with the things he could say to primetime players. Let me tell you.
Thankfully, Darren Young was still in the closet in 2013.
Oh,
Who knows what Zeb Coulter
that's a
might
horrible
have said.
sentence to say. Thankfully, he was still in the closet. Oh God!
Right.
Canceled.
So yes, the match 5, the Real Americans versus the primetime players, and honestly, a fun match.
Yeah.
Because
wow.
there's
It's
a lot
almost
of
like.
There's a lot of big, strong boys in this match.
It's almost like Jack Swagger and Cesaro are fucking really talented in ring, and I've never met primetime players before, but damn, they're also quite good. And this is the one match I'd say that actually had like some fucking semblance of work rate.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about Jack Swagger as a wrestler, but him with Cesaro is really good.
Jack Swagger's not like great on his own, but like he's a good worker overall. I don't think he's like the most distinctive worker out there, but like his shit's always solid. I can always count on him to put on at least a decent match, and I can appreciate that. And hey, these days he's got a cute gimmick with a purple bucket hat, so I can't hate him too much.
He has come a long way from being quietly xenophobic.
Yeah.
He now wears a hat.
He likes this hat. Dude, I fucking love that. Sidebar, I goddamn love the I like the hat gimmick. I love it when people get over on the dumbest bullshit as long as it's like inoffensive. And I've gotten two of the most magical things this, I guess, last year now with Scissor Me Daddy Ass getting over and I like this hat getting over. Oh, God, I love that shit. But yeah, we're a few years away from that. So Jack Swagger's just Jack Swagger, and Cesaro fucking rules. Yeah.
Yeah, and shockingly, Darren Young hits the gut check, which is basically what if I just dropped your gut? What if I just dropped your like stomach where my knees are?
Yeah, it's
that
basically doing the spot where like someone tries to top rope you and you get your knees up, but just like premeditating it and not needing someone to like go up on the top rope first.
Yeah. That's an interesting way to put that. But Darren Young hits the gut check and he wins.
Yeah.
He pins Cesaro for the win.
Dude, my man could schmoove in that ring. Well fucking earned. That was a fun match to watch. It was short, sweet, inoffensive, and actually, you know, what pretty darn good work out there. I must say. Good job, boys. You did it. I'm proud of you.
And then cut back to the future Renee Paquette, currently Renee Young.
And
the Big Show. Renee is curious about the rumors that Big Show and Mark Henry are going to team up to face the Shield for the tag belts.
And he's like, well, Renee, let me tell you, those rumors are absolutely fucking true. And everyone goes, hey!
And Brad Maddox is like, hold your horses there, buddy. Because I heard you've been making disparaging remarks about the Big Show, about what Triple H, and Big Show's like, yeah, freedom of speech, pal.
Yeah, he Chad yeses Brad. He's like, hey, I hear you've been talking shit about Triple H. Yes. Damn, it's almost like Big Show has a history of not getting along with the GMs of the shows that he's on.
Now, and then Brad Maddox is like, well, you have a freedom to express yourself. How about you go express yourself tonight in a 3-on-1 handicap match against the Shield?
Yeah, so he's putting the Shield up for another 3-on-1 match.
Hey, being bootlickers is a full-time job. You got to be ready to go.
Man, what I want to know is like, why does the Shield, are they getting paid extra in kayfabe? Like, are they getting paid like extra mercenary money or some shit? Like, why are they putting up with this? Why are they licking the boot? They are like they are easily, obviously, 3 of the strongest dudes in this fucking company. Why do they give a shit? Why are they listening to anyone but themselves?
I just assume the authority pays really well.
I guess I should hope so, but like, I kind of also doubt that. But yeah, so Big Show is completely unfazed by this. He's like, oh Yeah, are you sure you want to do... He literally does the, call an ambulance, but not for me. Yeah. So
And
he's completely
then-
unfair. And we cut from that to a fucking weird Foot Locker ad.
This is not the weirdest backstage ad I've seen in WWE. Obviously, that's forever going to go to the one with Jared from Subway for obvious reasons. Yes. But, you know, so they got this fucking Foot Locker rep here, and Zack Ryder and Justin Gabriel are back there being like, hey, Zack Ryder, check out these cool new shoes you're going to get from Foot Locker.
Hey, Zack Ryder, you're super over. How about an advertising promo?
Absolutely. And then they are interrupted by Fandango. So Fandango's gimmick is he is a wrestler, but also he really likes ballroom dancing.
Yeah, and he's got like a valet that he just kind of enters
Summer Rae
and dances with. Summer Rae, yeah. They just kind of show up and dance together sometimes. They
do. They
and it's
show
delightful,
up and dance.
honestly.
And he's like, Foot Locker, can I dance in these shoes?
Yeah, it doesn't say dance. He says, like, he's not British, mind you. He otherwise has a completely American accent, but dance.
Well, that's because his name is Fandango, not Fandango. So,
also fucking stupid, but, you know, again, delightful gimmick nonetheless.
And Foot Locker guy is like, yeah, sure, you can dance in these shoes. And he's like, good.
He gets like really horny over that prospect.
Yeah, Fandango is hilarious, especially in the future when he joins up with Tyler Breeze and they have a whole skit as the Fashion Files where they do police procedurals.
That's great. I fucking
we gotta do a whole arc just of doing like 2016 SmackDown so we can do the Fashion Files.
Dude, I'm here for it. I know Tyler Breeze exclusively from Up, Down, Down. I would love to see him do like actual in-ring shit at some point.
Mm-hmm. But we then get a SummerSlam recap video that is the exact same one they opened the show with.
Why is this show 3 hours long again?
Because USA was like, here is more money, make it 3 hours.
And they were like, cool, we're gonna use all of this to invest in padding.
Exactly.
God. Yeah, so they recap, they do the same recap shit, and then we go backstage, and there's like just some jobbers taping up in the locker room.
Some dudes, and here comes Ryback.
Ryback is here.
Oh my joy. God.
Mm-hmm.
The meatiest musclehead jock that has ever existed in history.
Ryback is clearly not a fan of the Be a Star campaign.
No, he is not. He like yells at these dudes to get out of the locker room, and then he singles out this one guy, and he basically is like, stand up. Now sit down. Now stand back up. And pick up your bags. And he tries to pick up the bag. He picks up the bag, and then he chucks it across. Then Ryback chucks it across the room, and he's like, go pick it up. And then Jobber goes to go get it. Ryback steps on the bag and is like, pick it up. And then he does eventually pick it up again. Then Ryback chucks it into the shower. And then they go in the shower. He's like, pick it up. Now open it up. And then he's like, turn on the water. And he forces this jobber to like fill his gym bag with shower water.
What was the point of this? Why are we just watching Ryback do backstage hazing?
Because this is heel work.
Does this lead to anything?
It leads to him joining Paul Heyman and being a heel with Paul Heyman.
Face up to this point?
Not up to this point, but he turned face for a hot sec. But then they're like, we are got to reestablish him as a heel.
Okay, but like, why did we need to show him do backstage hazing to this intensity? Like, this was a weirdly uncomfortable scene to watch. Like, it was funny. Like, it was funny in just how absurd it was. It's also like really uncomfortable because the man is just selling it straight, and so is the jobber. So we're just watching this motherfucker do backstage hazing. It's like, why?
I guess it does play into what his character ends up being. Like, he ironically is like, I hate bullies. Don't point at me.
Top
Ryback
tier Vince McMahon humor, everybody.
Ryback is fascinating. I love it. So
Ryback says so much for the tolerant left.
Yes. Matt's number 6, the Big Show versus the Shield. Big Show absolutely doing work. This match is basically the Big Show beating the shit out of Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, and then Roman Reigns runs in, hits one spear, and then they triple powerbomb the Big Show and they win.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? That was, first of all, I want to point out, Big Show throws Rollins out of the ring at one point, and Rollins does this shit of clutching his knee again, which, like,
hey man, gotta sell that knee.
What were they? Was he injured? Were they trying to play something? What was happening?
Just selling a knee. He's just selling a knee.
He's why it's so good. I think I'll have it a second time. Yeah. So, like, it was cool to see them triple powerbomb Big Show, but also, this is some bullshit. Shield fights a second match tonight, gets mostly beat up by the Big Show, but then Roman Reigns hits one spear and they get the dub. That's such horse shit, dude.
Ooh, we are building up Roman, all right? Give it about a year, and he's going to be main event in Mania, all right? So,
and people are going to be booing him while he's supposed to be a face.
I don't know what you're talking about. He was the superstar of the year of 2014.
They were like, hey, remember how much we hated John Cena? Yeah, we hate him less, but wrestling hate can neither be created nor destroyed. So we're just gonna we got to find someone to transfer it over onto. And you, Roman, make the perfect candidate.
So after that, out comes CM Punk limping, surely to apologize.
Well, okay. Well, in between that, we get another WWE fun fact, which is now masturbating the WWE magazine's readership.
No, they say that they have more reader per copy than all the other sports magazines combined. Which
they're masturbating. They're like their readership numbers. Like, thank you.
I understand what that statistic would mean. How do you determine that? How do you determine how many readers you have per copy of the magazine?
Fuck, was this time where WWE was probably traded?
Yes.
Oh, well, I know why these ads exist. It's purely for Vince's stockholders.
That makes sense.
I wouldn't be surprised if, like, the periodic stockholder meetings were just Vince flashing these fucking fun fact slides and being like,
every slide says, "Did you know?"
Yeah. And Vince is so proud of himself. He's like, "Oh, that's interesting." And he turns to everyone at the end. Now, did you know that?
Yes,
yeah. Okay, so yes, now we get Punk coming out, and he's limping. Gotta sell the fact that Rock fucked him up real good.
Yep. So, okay, this is fucking weird. So CM Punk is starting his promo, and apparently some heckler behind him said something. I can't hear it.
I think.
I don't know what he said or did, but Punk just goes the fuck off on this guy. Goes off on him like he just had a Mindy's muffin and he is working with fucking children.
Oh,
that is where Punk is at.
Couldn't manage a target. Yeah, CM Punk's like, "Hey, you fat piece of shit in the front row.
Get in the ring and fight me for real. You won't, you pussy coward."
And he proceeds to just keep harping on that for like 2 minutes. What the fuck? It was so
Noted
weird.
Babyface CM Punk out here.
You can get away with anything as a baby. Hey, we love it when baby faces body shame people who we don't like. It's just when you're mean to people that we do like that it's a problem.
Obviously. That's why it's funny when we call Paul Heyman a walrus, but it was bad.
Describe his walking as waddling.
And it was bad when we made a whole storyline about fat shaming Mickey James. That all makes sense, of course.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, no. It's okay to be to completely abandon your principles to be mean to the mean people. Obviously. So much for the talent left. Anyway.
So CM Punk tells Paul Heyman if he wants his apology, he can come out and get it right now. And out comes Paul Heyman with, oh God,
Curtis Axel in tow.
Curtis Axel is Mr. Perfect's son. And his naming is such because it is a play on Kurt Hennig, his father, and Larry the Axe Hennig, his grandfather, who was also a wrestler.
Delightful.
And he is the Intercontinental Champion. They made a big deal about it because he won the belt on Father's Day, the same belt his dad won. It was great. And that would be his career peak.
I feel like you mentioned that like way back in the first episode or something.
Probably because he would have been Intercontinental Champion at the time.
Well, hell yeah, there it is.
And Punk said he is not fit to wrestle here tonight, but he is here because this is all he knows. And Brock Lesnar gave him the fight of a lifetime, and he's here still standing.
Absolutely.
And Punk says he's sorry. He's sorry that he lost sight of Brock Lesnar for revenge, and he's sorry that he didn't beat up Paul Heyman more.
Yeah, Punk's basically just like, yeah, I'm sorry I didn't brutally fucking murder you, Paul. And Paul, naturally, does not take too kindly to this, and basically tells like Curtis Axel like tape his fists up or whatever. So I guess he's fixing to set a match here. And then Paul like comes down and he's like, hey, let me tell you why I'm actually nothing like that fat sack of shit in the front row who booed you and is an absolute coward and won't fight.
Yep.
You're still going in on this guy. Stop it. But he's basically like, yeah, all right, Punk, here's the deal. If you don't get out of this ring by the time we come back from commercial break, which was an awkward fucking line to say. If you're not out of this ring by the time we get back from commercial break, I'm going to have my boy Curtis Axel murderize you. And Punk was like, okay, bet. So we cut away and we cut back from commercial. And what do you know? Punk is sitting in ring in a metal folding chair while his theme song is playing. So I guess they just had that shit blaring during the commercial break.
And then back comes Curtis Axel. Paul Heyman does not follow Curtis to the ring because he is very brave. And Punk immediately starts whooping Axel's ass. Not even a fight, really.
I know.
He throws him to the outside, and at that point, Axel's able to kind of like get some hits in on him. And he throws Punk, even gets Punk into the barricade, ribs first. And Heyman starts smirking with that weird little smirk he does.
Yeah, they cut over to him with this fucking cheesy ass goblin grin on his face.
But Punk turns the tables. He throws Axel into the timekeeper's area. He stalks up to Heyman. Heyman backs away. So Punk just goes back to fighting Curtis Axel.
Pretty much. Punk is not dedicated to murderizing Heyman as much as he said he was, which is disappointing.
Punk grabs the fucking ring bell and hits Axel in the gut with it. At some point, Lawler manages
to get in a fucking like fat guy in the front row line too. Shut up, Lawler.
Of course. Punk gets Axel in the ring to hit the GTS. Axel gets out of it and shot blocks Punk in his hurt leg. And then he starts using the chair on CM Punk. He hits his stupid finisher that is like a neck crank face plant.
Sure.
Stupid looking. And then, Curtis Axel gets Punk in the chair with his leg in the chair to Pillmanize him. And you get Paul Heyman up on the ringside yelling, "You are the prodigal son, and you broke my heart. Break his leg."
Say, God, that is a great moment from Heyman. I fucking hate how charismatic he is, but also like, what? Okay, so they've lampshade multiple times in commentary the fact that this is not a sanctioned match. This is just a
fight. They're
just
fighting each other.
So why the fuck is anyone in the back letting this go on? Why, at one point, would anyone put a stop to this? Why is
because this is WWE land and nobody has and no baby faces have friends. So you know what? Like, fuck this and fuck you.
But like, no. But like, people in corporate, like, why wouldn't the full-timers put a stop to the, like, or
you're asking why the completely heel management team is not stopping a babyface from getting his ass kicked?
No, but Punk is the face right now. And moreover, like, it's not even that. It's like they're wasting their time on a fight that's not sanctioned for the show. Like, they just, like, in kayfabe, they're wasting like 10 fucking minutes on like, God, the kayfabe booking for WWE continues to be the most hectic, chaotic, disorganized shit. But it's even like, it's even more baffling because I feel like I've seen them put together matches extremely last second like this before, and I feel like Paul Heyman could have the power to declare this a match if he wanted to. So why not just why is this one being done as a shoot fight, quote unquote?
Well, Heyman doesn't want a match. He wants Curtis Axel to injure Punk. So he doesn't want a sanctioned fight. He just wants Curtis Axel to put Punk on the shelf.
But like,
so he has no interest in that.
Why are the bookers letting them dedicate a long period of time to this whole thing? It makes no goddamn sense. I fucking hate WWE's like booking philosophy in this era of just letting shit happen in the middle of the show without a seemingly like planned out show in kayfabe. It gets stupider every single time you see it. But yeah, sure.
Punk avoids getting Pillmanized. He gets up, he gets the chair. By the way, Pillmanizing is when somebody gets their leg, or I guess any body part technically, crushed in between a chair, named a Pillmanizing because that is what Stone Cold Steve Austin did to Brian Pillman to kayfabe break his leg to hide the fact that Brian Pillman broke his leg.
Oh, shit.
Brutal stuff in 96. So that is what where the term Pillmanizing comes from. So Punk gets up, beats Curtis Axel to death with that chair. Then he basically GTS's him into the stairs. I was about to like make a snark remark that CM Punk is going to do a GTS with his injured knee. And then he, instead of GTSing him with the knee, he basically uses the stairs for it.
Hey, look at that. They're actually like paying attention to what's supposed to be injured here. You love to see it.
Yep. And then Punk and Heyman just stare at each other.
Yeah, Punk's music is playing again. Like, so I guess the poor beleaguered backstage sound guy just decided, yeah, I mean, I guess that means he wins this non-sanctioned fight. Okay. And he just stares down Heyman. Why doesn't he attack Heyman? I don't know. Because
Heyman just slowly slinks away, and Punk is stopped by the invisible force field.
Yeah.
It prevents him from being able to go chase after Paul.
Prevents him from doing anything but looking on, standing there, menacingly.
So then we move on to match number 7 of the evening, R-Truth versus Bray Wyatt. We're here.
Yeah. Truth is some of my faves in this ring. R-Truth, King, love him with all of my heart, and the fucking Wyatt family, the whole Wyatt family. Luke's here, Eric's here, and of course Bray's here to face off against R-Truth. And so, okay, just random thoughts here. I don't know how the fuck Eric Rowan made a weird store-bought ass plastic sheep mask look intimidating wearing it on his face, but
it works.
It works, and I guess they sold that shit as merch, which is wild.
Hell yeah, they did.
I just assumed that was something they got at like a fucking like party store or something.
Even if they did get it at a party store, we can merchandise that shit for ourselves.
We'll buy the rights to sheep masks everywhere. That shit'll sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, this is OG Bray Wyatt. We got the lanterns, we got the rocking chair, we got the Panama hat.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
The unbuttoned Hawaiian shirt.
Absolutely. So
someone on commentary describes the Wyatt family as Duck Dynasty meets Charles Manson, which is actually a really sick way to just. God God, I hate it when I like the things that you do. Stop it.
Yeah, so Bray Wyatt basically squashes the shit out of R-Truth.
Pretty much, yeah.
He yells like, "Am I not everything I say I am? I am the new face of fear."
Dude,
and then
I will say it was really cute. He like gives Truth a little forehead kiss in the middle of his like Sister Abigail finishing move.
That's what he always does. Is he always does like he always does like the kiss to the forehead, Sister Abigail.
It's so funny because it's not aggressive. It's so soft and so tender. It looks like jovial almost. He's like, "Mwah." and then he finishes dropping him. It's so cute.
This is also so early game that like he like dances with R-Truth's like knocked out corpse before he hits him with the Sister Abigail.
I know, it's so awesome. And I gotta say, commentary's selling the Wyatt family really fucking well. Like they all like run the creeped out demeanor.
They're all kind of terrified of this guy.
Yeah. They sell really well. Like they don't overplay it. It would be so easy to like overplay the shit out of them and make them wacky. But they almost undersell it a little bit. Like they kind of start like speaking in slightly more hushed tones and with less kind of bombast to their voice. And it does make for an effective way to kind of get over that these motherfuckers are weird and they're creepy and everyone's kind of a little discombobulated by that. So good shit for early Wyatt family. That was actually really awesome. Even if it was a complete fucking squash of poor Truth.
And then we get a hype video that I was so hoping we would avoid. We get
Ole!
Oi! We get a hype video of all the great matadors of history because Los Matadores are coming soon.
How they look, oh my god. We saw them in costume and their costume looked like the cheapest fucking Halloween USA ass store-bought bullshit. These just look like jobbers. Austin, it just looks like men who are going to walk in and just lose a lot. Why the fuck are they getting a hype video? They look so dumb.
Because for some reason, somebody thought they weren't going to immediately walk in and just lose. How'd that work out? That'll be course corrected soon enough.
Because everyone's like, hey, these guys are wearing cheap fucking costumes. They look stupid as shit.
Their most iconic feud is going to be with 3MB if you want to know what their career ceiling is.
No. Oh, dear.
Which is a great transition to match 8, 3MB versus the Usos.
The Usos, yeah.
3MB, three-man band. Heath Slater, Jinder Mahal, and Drew fucking McIntyre. They are playing air guitars, and they are losing every match.
And it's the three of them against the two Usos, which, yes, this checks out. What?
That's perfectly even. Actually, I don't think Drew McIntyre was officially in the match.
I guess, but he sure paraded around like he was.
And this is also pre day one-ish Usos, where they're a little chunkier than they are.
I know.
Now. And also they're doing like traditional Samoan war chanting before they get to the ring.
Yeah, and nowadays they're just guys being dudes. But yeah, I guess they had a whole like they were making their predecessors in the industry proud and leaning into that traditional Samoan shit.
I'm pretty sure that's a legit war chant. I'm pretty sure it's a legit
chant.
Yeah,
I will say, like a few other things I've noted, this feels like a much less offensive version of it. It actually read as like interesting and culturally aware and not just brown man scary.
It helps that the Usos are Samoan.
Are so backwards. Yeah, but it's also weird to see fucking Drew McIntyre, who got so very close to unseating Roman Reigns at one of WWE's like biggest pay-per-views in 2022. Like be a jobber in an air guitar trio. Also, apparently there was, according to I think JBL, there was an air guitar world championship held in Anaheim that allegedly 3MB did not do so hot in, which is, according to Austin, a preposterous thing to assert.
It is. What kind of stupid idea is that? But Usos, 3MB put up a good fight, but the Usos win. They do all the moves, all their moves, and they win with the splash. And delightful. I wrote they're getting down just like their daddy, Rikishi.
Yeah, they start dancing. It's so cute. They dancing, and the camera goes all tilty so while they dancing.
Mm-hmm. We get a recap. We get a recap of The Miz attacking Fandango at SummerSlam because Fandango interrupted him backstage because The Miz was the host of SummerSlam, you see. So
yeah, I always find it weird when they have like their wrestlers do hosting for their show. Like there was the time the New Day the New Day fucking like hosted WrestleMania. It's so wild when they have their wrestlers host the show. Why do they do that?
We want you on the show, but we don't have any matches for you, so you're just gonna host. Got it. Then we get the final match of the evening, our main event, if you could argue, The Miz.
That is an argument.
Versus Wade Barrett. Motherfuckers. Yeah. Wade Barrett is British and a bare knuckle fighter. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, I was like, was there a reason for this match? Is there history here?
It's to set up It's to set up the ending sequence of the match,
I guess. Yeah. Also, apparently, Austin is very excited over a gimmick called Bad News Barrett that we will apparently be encountering during this arc. So
yes, it is where Wade
one of those
Barrett
things that can win me over on, because right now it sounds frankly extremely fucking stupid.
Oh, it is so stupid. It's phenomenal.
Okay, yeah, cool.
You worry about it.
This is certainly a match. It was fine.
Wade Barrett is not nearly as interesting as a wrestler as I remembered him being when I was a child. But that sucks to see.
There can only be one exceptional British wrestler out there, and that is, of course, Daddy Reegs.
Of course. So The Miz gets Wade Barrett in the figure 4 because as part of Babyface turned The Miz, they had Ric Flair basically gift the figure 4 to The Miz.
That's weird. That's weird, right? That's definitely weird.
It's very fucking weird. But before The Miz can make Wade Barrett tap out, Fandango comes out and hits his top rope leg drop on The Miz and causes.
I know. The music hits. Fandango comes out of nowhere and just murders The Miz. And Wade Barrett. Well, no, I guess Wade Barrett doesn't get the dub. The match gets thrown out in Miz's favor.
Yeah, and then Fandango does the dancing, and we start doing da 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 da.
Oh, fuck! No, wait, shit, we missed commentary stuff. Okay, so I was just kind of vibing during this match. I don't fucking know. I think I was paying more attention to the end of the Penn State game. To be quite honest,
definitely were.
But like, so I'm kind of tuned out. But I tuned back into commentary with them bickering about something. I hear Cole say something about like, I don't even know. And then Lawler says something about like his feud with Andy Kaufman and something the TV guide. And then Cole's like, I'm trying to get you over. Like, what fucking conversation did I miss that Jerry Lawler was hearkening back to his Andy fucking Kaufman feud?
I don't know. I was busy trying to look up Wade Barrett's career history to make sure I knew when Bad News Barrett was going to happen.
And also, like, I think there was some sort of O'Reilly's Auto Parts, like, little sponsorship bit.
He tries to plug it because Miz is getting beat on the outside, and he's like, Miz can go to Auto right. Cole goes, Miz can go to O'Reilly's
Auto Parts to get a new face.
Hey, yeah, it's like he realized halfway through the problem of his sentence.
And then goddamn Lawler immediately pops in and goes, Grill? And God, I hate it when you're right. Stop it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So after that match, Supreme Toady, Brad Maddox, runs up to Stephanie and is like, "We have got eyes. Daniel Bryan is back in the building." And Stephanie is like, "This is fine. Everything is fine. Thank you."
But like not in like a meme way. Like she gets an evil grin on her face, and then she like sends Brad Maddox about his way and waltzes right into her dad's office.
Which, okay, the most shocking thing of this entire episode is we cut back to commercial and Vince is already in the ring.
Yeah.
They cut Vince's entrance.
Vince not doing pure vanity. God, you had so much. I just want to know, like, where did the extra time for the, like, fucked up Sin Cara match go? I don't understand.
Not sure.
I feel like you could have used that extra time to feed Vince's ego, but, you know, I'm not opposed to the fact that they didn't.
Yeah, so they cut. So basically, when we get back from commercial, Vince and Stephanie are already in the ring. Triple H is entering right now. He has also brought out the entire locker room.
The whole locker room is out here.
They must stand on the stage and watch Triple H and the McMahons celebrate their new champion.
Except for the Shield who are playing who are playing ring security.
Yeah, in case anyone gets any funny ideas. So out they come, and Vince is all proud of Triple H for doing the right thing and for seeing the light. And then there's a big old hug between father-in-law and son-in-law.
Aw, Dad. And
then Triple H in, honestly, one of my favorite promos he's ever cut.
Yeah, he basically just starts he does an extension of what Stephanie was doing earlier at the beginning of this episode, and is like, he's like doing this weird, like, towing the corporate line thing of like, yeah, no, I like Daniel Bryan. I think he's a wonderful little technical wrestler. I respect him as a worker. He's a great guy. I consider him one of my friends, but he's just not good for business.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
So like, I am going into this arc. This is my mindset for this arc, is that I feel like Daniel Bryan's chase with the Authority is to millennials what Stone Cold and Vince was to Gen X.
Yes. Yes.
My thought, and I will give more thoughts on that when we get deeper into Daniel Bryan's part in this story as we go on. When I have different comparisons to make point. But it has commonly been said about Vince and Stone Cold. It is basically this Gen X fantasy of like blue collar worker who don't give a fuck, who gets to drink beer, say whatever he wants, and kick the ass of his stupid, shitty boss. And every fan watching that show could live vicariously through Stone Cold getting to beat up his stupid, shitty boss.
Yes.
And this story feels like the millennial version of this, of the way you look at the way the boss is played out here. And it feels like this, like, I hope I'm not pulling a David and giving too much credit to the themes and writing of this section.
Wait, we might be on the same page here. Please bring it home. This promo felt like Vince is almost like this cartoony caricature of what an evil capitalist is. He's so obviously evil. Like, mwahaha, I am trying to fuck my employees over. And he was perfect for the villain of the 90s.
He was.
That's where the culture was of like, you know, we're coming out of Reagan, and like people are generally discontented, but everything's still like, the general public understanding of like what the fuck is up is is a little like kind of black and white. So there's not as much nuance that's been injected into the discourse.
Yeah. And I am also, to preface this, I'm not trying to portray one as better than the other of what I'm about to say.
No, not at all.
I am just contrasting how they are portrayed differently.
And I mean, you and I probably connect a little more to the to the more modern one. It's catered to our generation, but yeah.
Sure. But I'm not about to say like Triple H is better because there's a subtler take to it. I'm saying it's different because it's a subtler take. But Triple H feels like a subtler, more sinister, more real look at what an evil capitalist looks like. Triple H is out here basically fucking the consumer and his workers, and he is saying he is doing it for you. I am doing it. I am benefiting you. Yes. I want you to thank me for it because I am doing it in your best interests.
Yes! Yeah, baby! Yeah, this is basically my exact thought process of fucking Triple H is out here towing the corporate line, and like this almost kind of reads as subtle, brilliant commentary about like neoliberal corporate culture, wherein like they like, because Triple H, and you know, it's funny, it's kind of weirdly fucking reflective of the real life situation with the differences in McMahon leadership versus Levesque leadership. Because fucking like he's out here like putting a friendly face, a friendly smile on the front of the company, and saying
he cares about all of his employees.
Yeah, and he will say wonderful things about Daniel Bryan. He can apparently not say enough nice things about Daniel Bryan and how much he respects him as a worker and as a man and as a friend, and we're all a big family here, and yada yada yada. However, you know,
but listen,
it's just not quite what we need as a company right now. It's this kind of brilliant like portrayal of like like basically it's a weirdly like a pithy portrayal of like the sinister forces that can lay behind a friendly corporate smile. It's what the fuck? This is really good and brilliant. No. Holy shit.
Like I don't know if I want to do beat for beat, even though I wrote beat for beat, but he is out here being like, I did this for every single one of you. I did it for 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 you. And he in the most like, you don't know what you want. I, the corporate, know what you want. He is like, he frames screwing over Daniel Bryan for Randy Orton as giving the fans the best for them and that they shouldn't settle for a B+. I am giving you an A+, and you should settle for nothing less because you deserve it.
Oh, it's so sinister. God, fucking wrestling, dude. Every once in a while, it's weird, like dumb, over the top, on the nose way of storytelling can actually contribute to some really effective, like thematic, commentary-ish storytelling. What the fuck? Yeah, awesome stuff. But also like, fuck, listening to this is so wild because of how like we know this was originally planning on being booked. But yeah, more on that. I guess.
And Triple H is, but at the same time, then after he does his smiley of like, it was very difficult. I respect Daniel Bryan a lot,
and he put up a hell of a fight, and he deserves. That is a man who deserves to be called champion.
That was his quote. He says that Daniel Bryan deserved to win the WWE Championship match, but deserves to be WWE champion, the face of the WWE. No, you, the fans, deserve better than that.
Oh my
God.
God.
After he does his flowery bullshit, he's like, Daniel, came out here and had said he had a personal problem with what happened last night. What about my personal problem? Do you think I wanted to throw away Daniel Bryan's 15-year career because he just overachieved? It hurt me. And you think I like doing it for Randy Orton there? He's like, there's a lot of bad blood, but I buried it. I buried all of my feelings because I did what was right for all of you. And Daniel, saying you have a personal problem, that is selfish. You need to check your ego at the door every week like I do. This is
Triple H saying anyone needs to check their ego. Okay.
Gaslighting supreme, where Daniel Bryan gets screwed over and his company is telling him that if he has a problem with that, he's the selfish one.
When you really think about it. When you really think about it.
It is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's great. And then Triple H is essentially like,
it could have been a little bit pithier, like all Triple H promos ever.
Yeah.
But holy shit.
Yeah, like I said, kind of long-winded, but like overall what was being delivered there was really effective and like fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So Triple H then, like, you know, beckons Randy Orton out to the ring, and so Randy Orton's music hits, and he comes parading down the ramp past everybody. Literally only Brad Maddox and Teddy Long are the ones clapping for Randy, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And again, why the fuck is the entire locker room out here just to watch this? It's so weird, especially if it's not like standard practice by any means.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that whole song and dance happens. And Randy comes out, hits the mic, and is essentially like, yes, love me, bask in my glow. I am the greatest thing that has ever happened.
But more importantly, bask in Triple H's glow, because I wouldn't be able to do any of this without him.
Oh my god, the corporate fucking the corporate circle jerk. Oh, it's so good.
And then Triple H, in his great affable generosity, is like, he knows Daniel Bryan is in the building. So he offers Daniel Bryan to come down to the ring and, you know, do whatever he needs to do, cry it out so he can move on with his little career. And he tells the Shield to, like, get out of the way. You might scare him. So you guys move out of the way. And he's like, nobody touch Daniel or we're going to have problems. And then
Daniel comes out. And
I want one more thing is then he keeps it going where he's like, Vince, you just gave me a great idea. Everyone, make Daniel feel welcome. Yes. Play his music.
Oh my god, it was so fucking eerie, dude.
It's disgusting, truthfully.
It's horrifying.
But out comes Daniel from the side of the stage, and Triple H the whole time is like, come on, buddy. Come on, little guy. Get in the ring. And as he's about to step into the ring, the Shield run up and ambush him. And he fights off Rollins and Ambrose.
And of course he gets dicked over by the Roman spear because everybody must pay their dues to the Roman spear.
And then the Shield go for the power bomb, and Triple H's like, no, put him down. We're gonna let him get in the ring. And oh my god, Daniel Bryan is like trying to crawl into the ring, and the whole time Triple H's like, come on, buddy, show some guts, Daniel. You can do it. Yeah. He's on the best.
Oh my god, it's taking on more and more of a sinister undertone with every word.
He takes it with the best tone you use to encourage your toddler to start walking.
Holy shit. It's so condescending and just dripping with cynicism.
Yep. But Daniel eventually gets into the ring. He stands up right there. RKO. Immediately. And the show goes off the air with the McMahons and Randy Orton with their arms held high, celebrating the new champion. and standing over Daniel Bryan's corpse.
Holy shit. Yeah, so this was fucking wild at the end of it. It's so wild to me, like, seeing them play this angle like this, because this is so in your face with, like, this is the big corporate world squashing the indie little guy who you all love. They're setting this up as this, like, major David and Goliath story, except, like, it's weird when you know that they were not planning on booking him to actually get the title out of this, which is so weird. Like, they set up all of this and they were just going to end it with, and yeah, he actually doesn't get the title. Like,
and it's other people like The Big Show and John Cena and Dave Batista are going to be the conquering heroes.
Which, like, I guess
of this
Big
story.
Show is kind of like not your typical, like, corporate hero. Like, he's not like supermodel tier, and he's like he's of a bizarrely large stature, but still, like, he still is like a big giant beefy boy to be like a power man at the top of the company. Fucking DB, like, he's just got none of that whatsoever. But, like, they're setting this up like this is the thing for him to surmount. This is the great evil, which must needs be proven wrong. Like, this could be Austin McMahon 2.0, but they weren't planning on booking it that way. So why the fuck were they playing this up so much, Austin?
Just because they needed a really good story to go a couple months. You know, you get Daniel's the hot iron, so, you know, we'll run him through his couple of months, establish a new top heel regime, and then we can have the real stars take care of the bad guy.
Dude, the ultimate irony to this is that, like, WWE kind of, like, when the pipe bomb happened, right? WWE, like, basically wrote itself into a corner by creating a hero of systemic change at a time where they just were not planning on actually really implementing any systemic change. Here, they gifted themselves a token of systemic change on a silver fucking platter without needing to change a lick of their corporate culture. All they needed to do was crown Daniel Bryan a WWE World Champion for a substantive amount of time, and all of a sudden they create, like, they can actually follow through on a hero of systemic change. Again, without actually having to change anything behind the scenes, they give themselves something that has a hell of a great appearance as, like, a harbinger of new beginnings in the company. And they just weren't gonna take that. They created themselves another pipe bomb situation, except they only put themselves in a corner because at first they just kind of didn't feel like going through with the obvious boost to this story here. What the fuck?
I was gonna save this for, I think, another episode where it felt more prescient to bring it up, but since we're kind of talking about it right now, I feel like it's easy to say that Daniel Bryan, based on the fan reactions, should have always been the intended hero of the story, because nobody was connecting with Daniel quite as much as anybody else, the same as anybody else. I would also argue, purely from a literary analysis perspective, this story could only work with Daniel, because this is a story, you know, like, it's commonly cited about how he's 5'8", 200 pounds. He looks average, right? Usually as a form of a criticism, because in wrestling, the average people are so easily cast aside, right?
Oh yeah.
People who look average.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, is for this particular story, it works. This story of a corporate structure trying to force what they want, what they believe is best on the consumers instead of letting the consumers make their own choices about that, screwing over your own workers and telling them that they are better off for it. This kind of story, the hero of this story works best when he is average, because he is someone the audience can see themselves in.
Absolutely.
In this exact same spot, in this exact same story.
Now, here's the thing. Daniel Bryan himself is still a fucking superhuman of a wrestler. Holy shit, one of the best in the world. But, like, he's not some chiseled Adonis. And just from those appearances...
Which actually also plays in... kind of correctly plays into the story in a different way. Is another element of this story, if you want to use some real-life part, is the concept of a meritocracy and how much it's complete horseshit. And it's kind of so perfectly aligned here with Randy Orton, who is very good, but also literally only is in the wrestling business because he flunked out. He was literally kicked out of the Marines. But don't worry, his daddy was a wrestler. So, he's got an instant in wrestling and will always have a place in wrestling, as opposed to Daniel Bryan, who had to wrestle in armories and bingo halls and whatever the fuck you call indie wrestling venues, up from the bottom, and became legitimately one of the best wrestlers in the world, purely on his own merits. And in a meritocratic way, obviously Daniel Bryan should be a champion, should be a face of the company. He worked so hard for it, but it's not a meritocracy. So not only does that work from the element of he looks like an average person, he is genuinely one of, if not the greatest wrestlers on the planet, which touches on this story in this very way of like the fake bullshit meritocracy of capitalism angle.
Yup. Which again, WWE would never like purposefully lampshade, being run by some of the most notorious capitalists in the world today. However, it's a hell of a good story to tell your audience, and the fact that they were not going with the most obvious fucking answer to this like story problem that would have like gotten the audiences to go absolutely rabid, and it probably see the company in a slightly better light for actually putting DB in a top spot for a substantial amount of time. Like, it's mind-baffling that they had to like basically be convinced or inconvenienced into making the obvious outcome the actual outcome of the story.
Yeah, and that's going to be a reoccurring element for the first couple of episodes of this arc. But eventually we're going to obviously hit the point where it's like, okay, they are intentionally setting up. Right. Yeah.
I can see why they tried. I can see why they try to claim, though, that this was all the grand plan. Because if you look at it without knowing, it feels like it would be, right? Yeah, because it's so fucking blindingly obvious that a toddler could figure out this story structure. Like, it's not hard to pretend that this was the plan all along, but knowing that it's not is deeply funny to me. But it is. I guess more to discover for the future on that front.
Yeah, so we are going to be taking a time skip for a few months in the future next time, as we kind of examine another thing I feel like worth showing here. But for now, we've closed the book on this section. This was pretty much here to be like a set up the stakes and players episode for this long-term arc. Everything else in between was mostly fine, but hard to care about, especially even knowing that we're never going to come back to this point in time. So like the CM Punk Curtis Axel stuff was a big character beat, but we're never coming back to that storyline ever.
Oh no, I'm heartbroken. Do you see the devastation?
Sorry to hear that. But yeah, the stuff about Daniel Bryan, the stuff we were here for, loved it. 10 out of 10.
Amazing. Incredible stuff.
So that is for this time. Next time, we are back in the Coliseum home video releases.
Oh no. Oh God, what do you got for me this time, buddy?
This time, I think it's time let's be a little more straightforward. All right. What if I was but a dumb child who wanted to see more wrestling matches?
Oh,
a bunch of different
that
wrestlers.
literally describes me. I am but a dumb child who wants to see more wrestling matches.
And so, thankfully, the WWE had an answer for that. Next time we are going to be watching a super tape from the Coliseum home videos.
Super tape. That's like Superman. As a dumb child, this is exciting to me.
Of course, the super makes it better.
Absolutely. That's how it works. It's simple math, people. Come on.
Yep. Until then, David, hit our plugs.
Yes, sir. Dear friends, thank you for once again listening to yet another episode of the Noobs and Knockouts Podcast. We are so delighted to have you here. First of all, hey, returning listeners, viewers, what have you, thank you so much for listening, watching. As always, we are so grateful that you have once again welcomed us back into your eardrums, your eyeballs, whatever it is you use to consume our content. Thanks for being here. New people, hey, hi, how's it going? Thanks so much for being here. We here at the Noobs and Knockouts Podcast like to think we are friendly to both noobs and knockouts alike. So whether you are brand new to the wild, wacky world of wrestling or you're a veteran of all the bullshit, we hope you've had a great time with us. We hope you want to keep having a great time with us week after week after week. If you would like to do so, but you're not entirely sure how, well, not to worry, my friends, I have you covered. First of all, you can find us on YouTube. We are the Noobs and Knockouts Podcast on YouTube. Hit subscribe, ring that bell, make sure it turns a nice little solid color so you get notifications every single time we drop a brand new episode. It's a great time. Give us that sweet, sweet interaction. And hey, check out all of our playlists. Austin has been kind enough to follow, to organize, all of the arcs and storylines, etc. that we follow into their own separate little playlists so you can follow something all the way down without having to jump around a whole lot. It's a great time. But of course, you can see our lovely faces too. We got our HUD and all the secret little visual gags that we hide in here for the people who deign to look at our beautiful Daniel Bryan tear faces. But of course, if you are a fan of the audio-only experience, we have you covered there as well. You can find us on 3 of the best places to find your podcast, which would be Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Come check us out there. Listen to us, download us, rate us, review us. A nice little 5-star rating if you're so inclined, and maybe a nice little review that tells the algorithm and other people, hey, these guys are pretty cool. Maybe people should listen to them more. I don't know. I'm just saying. Either way, we hope you can join us on YouTube, on Spotify, on Google, or on Apple Podcasts to listen or watch the Noobs and Knockouts podcast. But of course, on top of that, we have social media where you can interact with us. Ooh, ain't that exciting? First and foremost, of course, is our Twitter. You can find us on Twitter at Noobs and Knoxpod on Twitter. That's at Noobs, the letter N, Knoxpod on Twitter. It's a great time over there. Come check us out. We post memes, we engage in discourse, we put up a post every single time we drop a brand new episode, so you guys always know what the hell's going on. And of course, the highlight of our Twitter is weekly wrestling live tweeting every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on TBS. We are watching AEW Dynamite. I'm so fucking excited. By the time this episode drops, the new re-aestheticization of Dynamite will be unveiled. It looks sick as fuck.
I have not watched. I will not be watching live. Haven't watched since the Brawl Out, but Austin will be watching.
Stubborn little boy, even though Tony Khan's cooking up some good shit. Let me tell you.
I keep hearing I missed some good shit in the post All Out AEW world, but
yeah,
I will be watching this new episode. And we'll have comments on the new aesthetic that I have not seen because I haven't been watching.
I'll have to show you. I saw the AEW Facebook page put up like new cover art that's like the new aesthetic with all the belt holders and the like. So I'll have to send that to you because it looks so fucking sick. So yes, I'm so excited. Every Wednesday night we watching that good old AEW Dynamite at 8 p.m. on TBS. I'm tweeting out my shit, having a grand old time. And when I'm feeling up to it, when I have the time, when I'm feeling kind of spicy, I will also be live tweeting Friday nights at 10 p.m. on TNT. Of course, what else? AEW Rampage. Having a great time over there. And of course, on top of that, Austin, though he is not currently following down any weekly shows on a regular basis, he is kind enough to so diligently follow and live tweet all of the major companies' pay-per-views as they happen. So, my friend, what is on the docket coming up?
Sure. So on Impact Wrestling, we have Hard to Kill coming January 13th. That's Friday the 13th. Spookity.
Oh, baby.
Next week, I will have a more thorough analysis of the card on hand.
Absolutely.
And then on January 28th is the Royal Rumble.
Hey, I might be watching that.
Yeah, who knows? We will see if Sasha Banks shows up in AEW in like 8 days, and you'll have your answer.
Damn it. Well, maybe she'll be there on Wednesday as like fucking Saraya's guest in the front row.
She will not be there. She will not be there because she will be in Japan on Wednesday for Wrestle Kingdom.
This is true.
Okay, so we will have. And the Royal Rumble so far, we have the Men's Rumble, the Women's Rumble, 30 men and women enter. The winners will get world title matches at WrestleMania. In addition, we will have Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight in a Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. What it is a match it's a cross promotion, as you could guess.
Yeah, really.
For the return of the Mountain Dew Pitch Black flavor.
Oh boy.
Because that's the kind of soda I like to drink. Black.
I like my soda how I like my coffee.
Black. We don't know what the rules of the match are yet. Hopefully it is not a match where they fight in the dark. Because that would be
hard to see. But I'm sure Bo Dallas will have nothing to do with that match.
Sure. But hopefully next week we will have the answer for what are the rules of the Pitch Black match. And then for AEW, March 5th is their next pay-per-view. Revolution. Gonna be a hot minute on that one.
Absolutely. It'll be a good fucking time. It's always a great time over on the Twitter. If for some reason you love listening to two of us ramble about wrestling, then you'll love it over on the Twitter. Our voices carry over pretty fucking well, I think. It's a great time. Check us out at Noobs and Knockouts Pod on Twitter. But of course, you want to get in super direct contact with us, hey, we got our email address too. Ain't that nifty? You can email us at noobsandknockoutspod@gmail.com. That's noobs, the word, and knockoutspod@gmail.com. Come say hi to us there. Tell us what you think about the show. Request things you want to see us talk about on the show. Tell us our hot takes are based in red pill or yell at us because we're stupid. Whatever it is, start discourse. Just say hi. We love people saying hi. We would love to say hi back. noobsandknockoutspod@gmail.com. And of course, finally, you can also find us on Patreon. Hey, we got a Patreon. We are also the Noobs and Knockouts Podcast on Patreon. The link for that is in our Twitter if you can't find it on the search bar. It's a good time over on the Patreon. $1 a month gets you early access to episodes and a shout out at the end of each episode. Shout out to friend of the show, the Sugar Daddy, Kyle Smith, for his contribution. Enjoy your perks, buddy. If you want to enjoy your perks along with Kyle, check us out on the Patreon. Maybe drop us a buck or two. Noobs and Knockouts Podcast on the Patreon. Link is in the Twitter.
See y'all next time.
Hasta luego.